a brawl.
I mean, you saw the Michigan players weren't leaving the field after the game because they didn't want a flag to get planted.
Yeah, they should have cared more about that in the 60 minutes before, but whatever. I can't believe he got away with that, honestly.
Clapp much more optimistic about the future of Michigan football than us.
Oh, me too. Yeah. Well, I don't see Bryce
Next
Underwood
year
get him to a playoff.
Let's do trash today, brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services LT.
205-229-2090. If something's not running right, whether it's plumbing, heating, cooling, any of these issues in our home or business, they are ready to serve you. Trust the name. Birmingham's trust since 1954. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Before you hit trash.
What?
Fun fact, Lane Kiffin's $13 million per season from LSU is just $2 million less than the Louisiana purchase.
That's pretty good. That's really good.
We paid $15 million for all of that in 1803 to purchase all the Louisiana territory.
Yeah, I think we paid less for Florida, didn't we?
And he's making that a year.
Yeah, you did the same with Summerall.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off? My balls was hot. I understand.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. So, Scotty, Tyler, just jump in whenever he takes the podium, and we'll shut it down in case this kind of overlaps. Is that fair?
Sure, yeah.
So, Campbell's soup stock dropped more than 3% on November 24th after a lawsuit surfaced accusing a senior executive mocking customers, disparaging employees, and making claims about 3D printed bioengineered meat. Now, the allegations stem from a recording made by a former cybersecurity analyst, Robert Garza, who said he began recording what he believed would be a routine salary meeting with Campbell's vice president and chief information security officer, Martin Bally, in late 2024. You really record this if you think it's just going to be
just routine.
Yeah, routine.
Yeah. I'm just going to trash our entire product here in this routine sales.
Damn, I've never seen the spicy nacho cheese soup.
I was kind of interested in that, yeah.
Now, according to the filing in Wayne County Circuit Court, Garza alleges Bally mocked Campbell's products as being made for, quote, poor people, questioned who would buy them, and repeatedly made racially offensive remarks. Now, the recording allegedly includes Bally expressing concerns about, quote, bioengineered meat that came from a 3D printer, a remark that has fueled backlash among environmentally focused investors. Campbell's responded to these claims, telling Newsweek that its ingredients are not bioengineered in that manner and described the comments as, quote, patently absurd. Now, the complaint filed November 20th as Garza versus Campbell Soup Company further alleges that Bally admitted on tape to coming to work after consuming marijuana edibles and delivered an hour-long tirade criticizing employees, customers, and the company's food. Trust me, if you are on edibles, you don't want to do an hour-long tirade with anyone. So I don't know if I believe this.
How do you do a 3D bio? I mean, I don't understand what we're doing.
I don't
here.
either. Can you explain that, Jeeves?
I don't think you can do
what
it.
What the 3D printer, what that has to do with bioengineered meat.
Yeah.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Have you been injured in an 18-wheeler accident, company truck accident, car accident, or work-related accident? Call Alabama's largest personal injury firm. Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys will fight for every dollar you deserve, and it won't cost you a dime. Trust me. What do you say, man?
Call me, Alabama.
Call 659-777-7777 or go to Shinara.com.
No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We'll get back to the afterburn of the Lane Kiffin move and more of Alex Golesh taking over at Auburn as we get ready for the SEC championship game this weekend on the field. Alabama and Georgia. Brown didn't know what tomorrow was. I bet you do. Tomorrow, big day.
I bet he doesn't.
I bet he does. Because USC is about to be number one.
Oh, it's the first signing day?
It's the national signing day tomorrow. USC is going to be number one. That's tomorrow. We'll talk about that later in the show.
That's a great pull by you. I had no idea.
I was reading an article this morning on Chad Bowden, the general manager
at USC.
And just what he's been able to assemble after being turned down multiple times, including Courtney Morgan from Alabama.
So that's coming up later as we get you ready. It seems to be less important than the portal these days. But tonight we get the new college football playoff rankings, and the discussion has become focused on Alabama if they lose the SEC championship game. For those that are not familiar, Alabama is a team in our state that's pretty good at football. They are the bubble team right now in the transfer spot on the playoffs. If they lose in Atlanta, they do not have an automatic bid, though some people assume they're already locked in the playoffs by being the number one team in the college football rankings when it comes to the SEC in their conference race this year. The SEC telling everybody they're the one seed because they won the tiebreakers. And we have always been led to believe if you're in the SEC championship game, you're not going to be left out of the college football playoffs. But the national discussion outside the SEC is drawing a very big attention at this, saying this is a huge talking point that Greg Sankey, quote unquote, cannot bully the rest of college football into forcing both SEC teams in, and that Alabama, if they lose, may not be deserving of being in there, especially if BYU wins.
Who is the
where are you right now on the lock or not lock for Alabama?
I mean, I believe, like, when we started this whole 12 team, I mean, we were told last year the same thing, that if you play in Atlanta, you're not going to be punished for that. But the way this thing is played out, if Alabama loses this game, and especially if BYU wins, it's going to be really tricky, especially when you look at the numbers right now. Like, I think I saw if Alabama's to lose this game, their playoff hopes drop to 29%.
See, I don't know how accurate those numbers are.
Take out the.
Is that All-State?
I don't either.
Is that the All-State
I don't know.
team?
I've seen a couple of different ones.
Give me the betting line, because somebody told me that moved a lot when Alabama clinched. Can you give me Alabama to make the college football playoffs on any site?
Yeah, I can find that in a second.
Right, while you look for that, Brown, tell me how you feel about this tonight. Where Alabama's going to be tonight. This is important.
I am not surprised tonight if you get an adjustment where Alabama jumps over Notre Dame.
Me too.
I think the committee is getting hammered for the Notre Dame-Miami situation there. And I don't know what moving Notre Dame closer to Miami does. Neither one of them play another game. So I think that is, if they're in front of Miami tonight, it's over for Miami. You can hang it up.
That's right. Discussion done.
Yeah, BYU is the only thing that can sneak in.
So if you're ever going to adjust Miami, to your point,
it would have been
for beating Notre Dame earlier this year, tonight is it.
Tonight's it. Tonight you've got to say, look, that Miami win over Pitt. Yeah. This is a hard sell, by the way. That Miami win over Pitt was so impressive. We've now got a full body of work for both teams.
I heard Cristobal after that game.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw him campaigning, and he's like, we basically beat the holy hell out of them, and it needs to come down to head-to-head.
So,
but like opponents.
But what they can say tonight is, hey, look, we've got a full body of work between the two now. Yes, we have not necessarily considered head-to-head to this point because we don't have full body of work. Now we've got the full body of work. Their resumes are almost identical. Miami won head-to-head. That's why we jumped Miami over Notre Dame, which would be the best news possible for Alabama because that will put Miami in the last spot and Alabama will jump up a spot.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I can see them saying, season's over. Alabama is the regular season SEC champion. That is another data point for them.
That's right.
So we are going to jump them. That's why Reese, we jumped them over Notre Dame. That's why Alabama's at number 9 and Notre Dame is at number 10. I mean, I think my gut tells me that's what you'll see tonight.
Yeah. I like Alabama one spot ahead of Notre Dame. I feel like they've been close a lot anyway. I'm interested to know what Vegas says when you find that, Lance.
No, I've got it right here.
Okay.
I mean, it's minus 2,000 to make the playoffs.
Alabama. That's what I saw, that it changed tremendously when they beat Auburn. that it became minus 2,000 to make the playoffs, which is in Vegas terms a lock.
Yeah, and Vanderbilt plus 4,000 to make the college
so
football
that's
playoff.
a no-go. So
What is Notre Dame? Can you tell me what Notre Dame is?
Yeah,
that was the one I saw
Miami to not make the playoffs minus 850.
So that's not to make it.
Yeah. Notre Dame, yes, minus 375. So they feel pretty confident that Notre Dame's in too.
Yeah, but
Alabama's in front of Notre Dame
by a lot.
Oh, yeah,
minus
by a lot.
2,000 to minus 375.
So then you've got to make the adjustment tonight.
I mean, I
You
think
have
they
to.
will.
And it's easy because based on the talking point that you came up with yesterday, they are the number one. They technically won the regular season.
Now, I didn't come up. Well, I mean, I'm not dinging you. I'm just saying that's what the SEC says.
Yeah, that's what they need to
the
say.
The SEC
though.
is hammering that this is our one seed. This is our regular season champion, and they should be considered as such. That's what the SEC is saying.
Yeah, the folks in Vegas, they don't like to give their money away. So again, minus means
those numbers are so big, nobody will play them either way. You might play Alabama to not make it on, just a wild long shot ticket.
Yeah, but minus 2,000
is massive.
Is a virtual lock. As humans are deciding this, but it's a virtual lock in Vegas.
Well, it always seemed like Bama, the 14 playoffs always got the benefit of the doubt, right?
Right.
Like when you would get there on that Sunday morning, you're like, I just don't know if they're in. I don't know if they're in. They were always in. But last year, for the first time in a 12 team, they were the last one out.
Why?
And again, if Alabama wins, it's automatic.
Why were they the last one out? Because a team that went to their conference championship game with a much worse resume than Alabama, now better record, but worse resume, lost that conference championship game and stayed in.
But you
and didn't
remember
get
what
kicked
the
out.
big deal was in the second half.
I do.
They came back.
They did.
And they made it a hell of a game. And if
They
they
did.
wouldn't have, at halftime, we all thought the same thing.
I
They're
did.
going to get bounced. Alabama's going to be in. So I think the only way Alabama could be out, more than likely, is if they get beat by double digits.
So minus 2,000 in Vegas is a key talking point here as you look at this. Would you find me Oklahoma on that list?
So-
I don't want to go to my Joe Test voice, but
Yes.
could you
You kinda
find
did
me
there.
Oklahoma
Jesse.
on that list?
Can I just quickly say, not correcting you at all, you're just saying what the national media is saying, and the national media is saying Greg Sankey's not going to strong-arm the committee
That's
into
right.
this.
And these are media people trying to put their narrative out there.
That's right.
The Fox world versus the ESPN world, the Big Ten world versus the SEC
And
world.
see, that's the thing. It's not Greg Sankey. It's Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti. Tony Petitti will be a drafting partner for Greg Sankey on this. Yeah. Because you know what? He knows this could be us one day in the very near future. Like Oregon, let's say Oregon had played, give me any team out of conference, and they lose that game, then they lose the one conference game, but they win the tiebreak, which up until Saturday, they were in the tiebreak.
Yeah, but if Michigan had won this past week
That's right.
and had won the tiebreakers to get in there, Tony Petitti would be saying Michigan should be a playoff
That's right.
team.
Michigan is our number two. They're our number two seed. Now, you couldn't have said one seed, but he could have definitely said number two seed. And so Tony Petitti knows this could be him one day. So he is absolutely, and it's not going to cost a Big Ten team.
Right.
So it's easier for him to be a drafting partner in this one because the Big Ten's only getting 3 no matter what happens.
Okay, tell me, is Alabama a bigger
Coach
lock?
Otes.
A bigger lock to make
Jesse.
the playoffs than Oklahoma at minus 2,000 for Bama? What is Oklahoma?
It's so massive for Oklahoma and Ole Miss, they don't even have a yes to get in.
Okay.
So their no's are plus 2,200, so 2.5 times what Alabama was, Oklahoma to get in. And Ole Miss is plus 5,500.
So I can't even bet yes.
You can't even bet yes.
So if no.
They just want you to waste your money. Hey, put $100 up to win 2,200.
Yeah, if no is 2,200, what would yes be in your guess?
Minus 5,000.
Okay.
Okay.
And for Ole Miss, minus 12 to 15,000.
Yeah.
That's why.
So Oklahoma has no worries either.
Yep. Oklahoma and Ole Miss are, and Alabama, virtual locks by this. Alabama still has, the yes up there. So, again, if they were to lose by double digits.
Now, can I play the other side of this?
Yeah.
Just real quick. I don't want to. I don't want to create panic, but I want to come back to this.
One more data point.
Okay.
Florida State did lose to Florida this past weekend. Nobody was paying attention, but that kept Florida State from being that magical bowl team.
That's amazing.
That is a data point for them. So instead of them being 6-6 and bowl eligible, they're 5-7, like Auburn is. So that's another. As you throw these things into computers, that's one. It's the worst loss, I believe, of any of the playoff contenders.
The most baffling loss by far.
Yeah.
Texas Tech lost to Arizona State.
Florida State's still a worse team than Arizona State, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the ding. The Florida State game is the biggest ding.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not another head scratcher. I guess Miami.
But they lost to 2 8-4 teams.
Yeah, SMU and Louisville.
Yeah. I mean, just two thoughts here. Just a thought on that before I go back to what I wanted to say. Notre Dame better be glad it's Miami right there, because if this were a Big Ten team right behind them, if this were USC, somebody like that, all of a sudden you'd have Sankey and Petiti teaming up together like they should be in, and if our team plays in Atlanta, they're in. I mean, you'd have the two biggest power brokers in college football teaming up on this thing.
Yep.
Notre Dame better be thankful it's an ACC team that's right behind them.
This thing's really predictable if BYU loses, right? And now you got Satake and the flirtation, not even a flirtation. It looks like they're dead set on hiring him now, Penn State.
There's conversation that he may announce, I don't know what time they wake up in Provo today to get to business at the office, but there is word that Satake may announce today he's taking the Penn State job and will coach BYU this weekend.
Think that fallout will be a little bit different than Lane Kiffin's?
Yeah, I would say so. I bet. Yeah. I bet they don't line up at the airport flipping birds to Satake's plane on his way out.
Dang you.
Hey, I've got a feeling that Satake will be able to coach them too.
Coach BYU?
Yeah.
What if they win? You think that?
No, that's what I'm saying.
In the playoffs?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what Penn State would do there.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, that's a fairly attractive job coming up in BYU. That's a good gig.
Yeah. A lot of NIL money.
Yeah, a lot of NIL money, solid program. You're in a conference that you can win. Obviously, they're about to play for it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty good job opening that could cause further ripples.
Until they fell apart at the end of last year.
Yeah.
Should have been in the Big 12 championship
well, let me ask
game
you
last
this.
year.
If you're Will Stein, would you rather have Kentucky or BYU?
BYU. Yeah,
I think so, too.
I wouldn't think twice about that.
Will Stein, you coach at Kentucky. We'll jump into that in a little bit. So after going through all those numbers, Alabama making the playoff percentage-wise in your opinion. Forget the ESPN predictor.
95%.
95%.
Yeah.
Can I quickly, though?
I leave the door open. I go 95.
The only reason I would say this, real quick, Brown, is because if they do lose by double digits, and look, nobody foresees that. The number has stretched out a little bit to 2.5. But now that you've got, everybody involved in this has got an ego. And now that you've got people saying, Greg Sankey's not going to bully us. Now,
that's
Honey
media people
Yurachek,
now.
this is a guy that actually works directly for Sankey. But if you have other people in that room that are just dead set on, we're going to show Sankey.
I don't think that attitude exists, but I could be wrong. Because technically they kind of work for Sankey and Petiti.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of their boss, but maybe sometimes you're like, I want to show my boss. I don't know. I guess technically, really, they work for ESPN.
Yeah.
That's what you got to remember here we're building a TV product here, and ESPN is the person that is the group that is going to be showing it on TV.
Yeah, and by the way, who's good for a TV product? Alabama.
It's the number one most viewed team in football.
Most viewed team in football.
Yeah.
It was going into the weekend. I didn't see the television
yet.
The television ratings from the Iron Bowl. I expect they were huge.
Yeah, probably not as big as Michigan and
will definitely not be.
Ohio State.
Not be.
It'll be number 2.
Yeah, it'll be the second game of the weekend and one of the bigger games of the year. There's no doubt. I'll see if I can find it before we get out of here. But
I would think the Egg Bowl, based on circumstances this year, was pretty big too.
Probably so. I want to go back real quick though and see if you can remember this moment, because I do, and I'm seeing if I remember it correctly. But the last time we were kind of in this situation with Alabama, you remember they were a 2-loss team. They go beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. You referenced it yesterday. Shorthanded Alabama. Brian Robinson banged up. Alabama had it was after Gravedigger, right? And
they lost Mechie in the first half of the game, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
But they beat Georgia. And we came in here on Sunday and did a show. It's how close it was. We did a show on Sunday, and I remember showing up, and I can't remember who the other team was. But I remember showing up, and the Vegas numbers favored that other team.
What year was it? 2022?
2020.
It was Saban's last year when they went to Michigan.
2023.
It was, I'm telling you right here, wasn't it Florida State?
It was. It was injured Jordan Travis. And I remember...
Unbeaten Florida State, ACC champion.
Yeah. I remember having said all week long, and I think you were with me, and then there was some disagreement elsewhere, like if Alabama's the SEC champion, the SEC champ is not being left out of this. This is before there was an automatic bid. But I only bring this up because I remember coming in that day, and I think the Vegas odds were still in favor of Florida State up until very late in the process.
Well, at this point, 2 years ago, going into this Thursday or this Tuesday night, Florida State was number 4 at 12-0. Alabama was number 8 at 11-1. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they jumped. There's no doubt. Anyway, I was just going to bring that up, just so just to play the other side of it. Vegas isn't perfect. If they were perfect, nobody would bet with them.
All right, let's jump into some of the coaching carousel stuff. We'll actually get down into the game in our next segment, Alabama and Georgia. Does Alabama have an advantage, disadvantage in this game? Rematch, trying to beat a team twice in 1 year, all that conversation that pops up as Alabama prepares to head over there. But the coaching announcements from Golesh and Kiffin before we get out of here in this opening segment, which is brought to you by our friend Alexander Shannara, Trial Attorneys.
When you find yourself in need of an attorney, it is Alexander Shannara, Trial Attorneys. That is where you go. You don't pay a dime unless they win your case at Alexander Shannara, Trial Attorneys. Shannara.com. Shannara.com. That is the place to go. Listen, he is a Birmingham guy, Birmingham born and bred, and what he wanted to do was build a firm that would handle anything his community faced, and he's done just that. You know, they handle personal injury claims, but they also handle fire and storm damage claims, bad drug and device claims, workers' claims, all of that right there at Alexander Shannara, and they've recovered more than $2 billion for their clients. So, whatever your legal issue, when you find yourself in need of an attorney, the first place to go is Shannara.com, Shannara.com.
This is one of those days that for sure when you get outside, you're like, the last thing I want to do is get on the roof and clean the gutters out. It's dirty. It's dangerous. You need to keep the gutters clean and free-flowing. The answer is our man, Chris Stewart, and Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap is a patented aluminum cover system. It fits over most existing gutters. It will only allow rainwater inside, keep all the debris out. Chris Stewart and his crew will come out, give you a free estimate. They'll clean the gutters one last time. They'll put the cap on, and you will never, ever have to clean the gutters again. Cap it, don't snap it. You don't want to get on that roof. You slip, you fall, you snap the neck and die. No good to the wife or kids. 205-823-2212. Tell him the next round sent you. For more information, guttercapbirmingham.com.
A couple of key moments from the Kiffin news conference and the Golesh news conference yesterday as they were introduced at LSU and at Auburn. Let's go to Lane Kiffin in that circus first. Before we do that, though, I want to give you what Ross Dellinger is totaling up. He's keeping a running total. 15 fired coaches with time left in their contract. Buyouts this year, $228 million in basically dead money paid to coaches to not coach. That beats the record by $100 million.
Wow. By $100 million?
By $100 million. This is just money to go away and not coach. Brian Kelly leads away at $54 million. Just 48 hours ago, Mark Stoops at $38 million, who has said now you can pay me over an extended period of time. It doesn't have to be lump sum. Smith at $33.5 million. That's Michigan
Jonathan
State.
Smith, yeah.
That's unbelievable. Billy Napier, $21 million. Hugh Freeze, $15.8 million. Mike Gundy, $15 million. Amazing for me at Cal, Justin Wilcox, $10.9 million. Pittman at $9.8 million. James Franklin negotiated his down to just $9 million.
Cal's checking the couches.
Yeah.
Look, this is not like the U.S. deficit. I don't think it's ever going to get to that point, but boy, it's trending in the wrong direction.
Yeah, man, $200 million.
That's crazy.
Pry at $6 million. Foster from UCLA at $5 million. Brave, $4 million. Dilfer, $2.4 million.
You know what every one of those schools at the top end of that list did? They went and hired another coach and gave them a massive buyout.
Yeah.
They don't learn. They do not learn.
Yeah. Well, to your point, Louisiana's governor said Brian Kelly's contract was financially irresponsible. We're not going to do it again.
Yeah.
In the meantime, they gave Lane Kiffin a 7-year, $91 million deal, 80% of it guaranteed with no offset money.
Yeah, so they did it again.
They did it bigger than they did before. Yes.
Bigger.
Typical government, man.
Yeah, bigger than
But
Brian
I guess
Kelly.
you can't roll the dice like an Alex Golesh. Like the incentive contract, we love it. But if they would have come in and said, we're not giving you any guarantee, Alex Golesh would have said, you know what, I'll take it to Fayetteville.
If you want Lane Kiffin, that's how you have to play. I mean, now listen, the schools are the reason you have to play that way. They're the ones that started saying yes to this stuff, and they couldn't get enough of it. They couldn't get enough of these big buyouts, and now that's the only way you get a primo coach is you agree to the big buyout. I love that governor. It was such grandstanding and political showmanship, that stupid press conference that Landry guy did, and saying what he said. He just looks like a complete fool now.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Lane Kiffin, in front of the LSU banner with new suits because the other ones were rolled out in the streets in Oxford, gets asked about what drew him away from Ole Miss at this pivotal time of the program that he had worked for to get to this pivotal time. Here's Lane Kiffin.
What drew you away from that into this place, especially kind of at this moment?
Yeah, great first question. That was, as I referred to, that was excruciating and difficult. And like I said, We tried every possible thing for a long time the other night and into the morning. As you saw, the team meeting announcement get pushed back because we were trying to get that done. And I'm very grateful for the chancellor there and Keith Carter, that they listened. We presented a plan how that could be done and give the players the best chance to win in the playoffs. And at the end of the day, that's their decision. And I respect that and made a good point. That may make sense to everybody outside, why the best thing was to keep us all together for the playoffs, and may make sense to all the national media, why that makes sense to do that. But, like he said, he has to live there. And I totally respect that, and I respect their decision and so appreciative for them.
I don't think the national media
So
is
question to
fighting for
you
that.
guys, though.
Well, I mean, to his point, Kirk Herbstreit and Nick Saban were on College Game Day.
Yeah.
SEC Shorts had a fantastic this week, but they had a guy in an ESPN T-shirt with an earpiece in saying, "You need to let Lane coach in the playoffs." And then it was Jimmy Sexton behind the curtain saying, "Tell them they need to let Lane coach in the playoffs. Don't use the evil laugh."
The off-putting thing was, okay, like I respect what Keith Carter and what the chancellor did, and they didn't want me to do it. I presented this, and that's fine. But what's off-putting is, in fact, if he did say, if you don't get on the plane, you don't have a job.
He claims he did not say that.
Okay,
he told Marty he didn't say that.
Did anybody ask the question?
I don't know. I did not watch the whole press conference, but he told Marty. He'd already told Marty he didn't say that. And again, I don't think he's going to own up to that. And maybe it wasn't in those words. Maybe it was.
Well, I'll tell you how it's going to easily be known is if one of those guys didn't get on the plane.
And they talk. Generally, coaches don't do that. That's a pretty tight fraternity, and they think, you know what, I might need a job from Lane one day.
Well, every one of them did, except Bobby Williams when they didn't get on that plane with Saban, right?
Yeah, Adam Gase was the only guy on that one.
Oh, was it Gase? Okay.
Yeah, it was Gase, yeah.
I have not seen that, but that was an interesting comment there from Lane. Later on, we'll discuss, we'll call it coaching lane changes since it's Lane Kiffin involved here. When you go from like programs to like programs, like Brian Kelly did from Notre Dame to LSU, it did not work out. Historically, does it work out? Doesn't work out later in the show. Down to Auburn. Alex Golesh introduced yesterday. We were here live. Most of you watched it with us. We appreciate that. Thumbs up if you enjoy the content here. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe for us on the YouTube channel there. Give us a thumbs up, and that always helps us every day when you do that. There's Alex Golesh getting the jersey from John Cohen yesterday. Mr. Cohen with new eyeglasses there, working those off and giving the smile for the cameras. The old number 1 jersey as he takes over, Golesh does at Auburn. His first question, or one of the first, I think it was the third question from Rosie Langello down at WSFA. He gets asked, is DJ Durkin going to be your defensive coordinator? Is he going to be part of this staff? This was an interesting answer.
You're in the process of building your staff. You're adding people, adding Cody Burns. What is your plan on the defensive side of the ball? Will you keep DJ Durkin as the defensive coordinator?
The answer to the defensive side, I'm working through it. We've got a plan. We're working through steps to execute the plan. My hope is that in the next, call it 24, 48 hours, that it's finalized and we have some clarity with which direction we're going. But we're working through it.
Yeah. What's the latest you guys are hearing on this? That was we both reacted, or all three of us reacted when he gave that answer. Initially, not even saying DJ Durkin's name.
Yeah. Well, one thing real quick, Scott had to edit that for time. The part where he addresses Durkin was at the end of the question. He answers the Cody Burns part first and talks at length about him.
Right.
And then comes back to, on the defensive side, we're working through it. Didn't mention DJ Durkin by name or anything, Lance, which I think initially, as we sat here and heard that, I think we all had the same reaction, is like, probably not great for DJ if he wants to stay at Auburn.
Yeah, Todd Orlando, former USC defense coordinator, former Texas defensive coordinator, is his defensive coordinator currently in South Florida. Hey, we're working through that right now. I don't know if that includes Todd Orlando, but again, I think if DJ was in the mix, I would just assume we're going to have conversations with DJ. I've already reached out to him. We're going to sit down. We're going to get this thing figured out.
Yeah, I kind of would have thought, sorry, Jim, but I kind of would have thought the answer would be somewhere, and I'm not criticizing Golesh for the way he answered. I'm just saying, if you had told me that was going to be the question, I kind of thought the answer might be something like, hey, first of all, I want to thank DJ for holding this thing together. You know, they did, being an interim coach is a really difficult spot. I thought they did a fantastic job. The players, I've talked to speak very highly, and we're going to work through that. You know, we're going to talk to everyone and build a staff that way. Just didn't even mention him, that was the thing I think that jumped out at us is he didn't even bring his name back.
Dunaway, why do you typically keep a coach that's already on staff?
For roster retention is one reason why.
Yeah.
And especially if he's good at his job like DJ Durkin was this year. I will just point out that Justin Hokanson at Auburn Live, Auburn Sports, the On3 network down there, reported in his reporting that Golesh and Durkin met twice on Sunday and once on Monday before this news conference. And then it's still no resolution yet.
Yeah, so I don't know why you wouldn't say, hey, look, I've talked to DJ.
We're working on it.
I tell you, if I'm DJ Durkin, I don't know what drives the guy. Don't really know him. There's some pretty good jobs open right now. South Florida's a good job. If you just traded, Tulane's a good job.
I don't think Durkin has been mentioned for a head job at all.
I haven't seen it.
But I was going to bring up one of the points you retained somebody is for the lay of the land, the landscape. Well, Cody Burns is a guy that knows that, right?
That's right, and he is already a part of the announced staff down there. Cody Burns, Joel Gordon, both of co-offensive coordinators at USF, Tyler Hudanick, offensive line coach, and DeMarcus Van Dyke, who works with the DBs at South Florida, who's coming in. Those four guys coming with him from South Florida.
Look, he is a control freak, Alex Golesh, and that's a good thing. You guys remember the problem with Alabama before Saban got there was the meddling. And maybe this is a situation where Golesh is like, I'm going to do everything the way I want to do it. Like, even when people were giving, hey, man, look, you do it your way, coach, but DJ Durkin's awesome. Maybe he don't want to hear that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to this. You saw when Hugh Freeze had to retain Carnell Williams, that didn't necessarily end great. And that wasn't, I don't think, Hugh's desire to retain Carnell Williams. I just think it was one of those things where he had been an interim coach. The fans loved him. You had to retain him. It's not a good idea to force that on your incoming coach. If he makes the decision on his own, great, fantastic for him. But, boy, I tell you what, I just think more often than not that's going to fail when you force it on the guy that's taking the job.
Yeah.
If that's, and I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm just saying fans that wanted, I think anybody that gets a job needs to keep DJ Durkin. Man, you don't want to start a coach off that way.
I would tell you, Brown, to your point on some jobs being open, Blake Baker's interviewing either yesterday or today the LSU defensive coordinator at Tulane.
Right.
Trying to become the Tulane head coach.
And Lane needs a defensive coordinator. Pete Golding stayed back in Oxford.
Yeah, then the belief was that Blake Baker was going to hang around and be LSU's defensive coordinator. He may be out the gate to get the Tulane head coach.
He can get that job. I mean, it led to Houston. It led to Florida.
That's right.
Yeah. So there's some openings out there.
Yeah, Memphis is a good opening. Like, they've got money in that program.
Yeah, everybody gets another job from Memphis.
That's right. I mean, you've gone Virginia Tech, Arkansas, and Florida State.
Yep.
I mean, that's the three. Virginia Tech, Arkansas, Florida State. That's some pretty good mobility from Memphis.
And USF's moving into their new on-campus stadium next year. They may have a live bull on the sidelines starting next year. If you can get that USF job, I actually like long-term. I know currently right now Memphis and Tulane are in a better spot. I think long-term USF is a better job than Memphis and Tulane.
I would agree. I think they've got more resources. I think more fertile recruiting ground.
Yeah. Memphis probably has the opportunity to tap into more NIL money with FedEx, but
it's still going to be the focus is going to be basketball still.
Yeah. You think North Texas is a good gig? Or is this just a flash in the pan because they got a good quarterback?
I don't know the money situation, but I know it's a huge student body.
Yeah, it's a large school.
I think when Todd Dodge took that over, they had like state-of-the-art for a Group 5 back then.
Yeah.
But Denton, I mean, that's a big community.
Yeah, I mean, you're
big campus.
Yeah, you're pretty close to Dallas and Fort Worth there. And again, if BYU comes open today, that's a good job. There's still plenty of good jobs out there. There's going to be some more ripples in all of this.
Yeah. And DJ Durkin, I mean, I don't know. I know Lane leans on Nick Saban a lot. He talked about it yesterday in his news conference, using Coach Saban as a advisor in this process. Nick Saban tried to hire DJ Durkin 2 or 3 times,
and loved him.
And I believe he was going to be Saban's defensive coordinator in Tuscaloosa in 2024 if Nick Saban had hung around and ended up at Auburn because of Saban's retirement. DJ Durkin at LSU, I wouldn't take it off the table if Baker leaves and goes to Tulane.
I have been told, enough that I believe this, that was actually, you've always heard the story, Nick Saban walked out of an interview with a defensive coordinator and walked into the meeting and retired, told his team he was retiring. That legitimately happened. I've been told DJ Durkin was that interview, that he was the last interview that Nick Saban did, and Saban wanted to hire him.
I thought it was a receivers coach they were interviewing, and DJ Durkin was already signed up to come be the defensive coordinator at Tuscaloosa.
Either way, he was going to hire him to replace Kevin Steele if he continued to coach.
Durkin would take that job.
Where?
LSU.
Oh, my gosh. Why would you not?
I think he would stay at Auburn first if the opportunity is there.
I don't know. I mean, just because of – I think he did have it in his head that, his point of view was probably different from a lot, but we did have that DJ Durkin line we talked about. DJ Durkin probably believed he was going to be the guy.
I will also say with Kane Womack, I mean, if Arkansas had him on a short list, if I'm Memphis, I'm like, Arkansas saw something in this guy. They thought it was going to work there.
Yeah, but do you leave your current –
Alabama for Memphis?
I don't know. That's tough.
I don't know. He left the head coaching job to do this. So just being a head coach isn't driving Kane Womack. He was a head coach.
Yeah, I would tell him he's in a better spot right now.
I think he is.
Yeah.
I believe you could get I
think if you hang on.
A power forward job.
Yeah, he almost had an SEC job. I think if you hang on at Alabama and continue to do well there, you'll get a better job than Memphis.
All right. So that's the big ones to start off with. Into the game, Alabama, Georgia. So we've talked playoff implications with the rankings coming out tonight. I know we've got the basketball challenge going tonight and a couple of games on ESPN, but the first one doesn't start at 6:30. Do we get the rankings at 6 o'clock tonight? They're not going to squeeze us between the two games tonight. I feel like it's going to be 6 o'clock Central, then basketball at 6:30 tonight. But we'll update you on that on the other side. We've done the college football playoff rankings, Alabama lock, not a lock, and now Golesh and Kiffin's introductory news conference. The actual game on the field when we come back, the show being brought to you by our friends at Bojangles. Brownie, tell us about Bojangles.
You can make it bow time at Bojangles. They've got those great hand-breaded chicken tenders, the great sides, the biscuits, the sweet tea that would make a great holiday party. You want a unique holiday party? Bojangles can cater that for you. Also, if you're just having an office party or something like that, those hand-breaded chicken tender bites are great as well for lunch and dinner. Peach, honey, pepper sauce, you dip them in. Great catering idea. Let Bojangles handle everything for you for your holiday parties, or if your high school football team's playing in a championship, that tailgate will be great with Bojangles as well. So whether it's breakfast on the way to work or school tomorrow, lunch, dinner, one of those great parties, let Bojangles handle it all for you. It is bow time.
Another winner last night with the New England Patriots in the NFL. Love one of those. You get up 17-0 in the first quarter.
Boring.
They hold on. It was a boring game, 33-15. But if you want a free play every single day, you can get it at lanceslock.com. Brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Have you been injured in an 18-wheeler accident, company truck accident, car accident, or work-related accident? Call Alabama's largest personal injury firm. Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys will fight for every dollar you deserve, and it won't cost you a dime. Trust me. What do you say, man?
Call me, Alabama.
Call 659-777-7777 or go to Shinara.com.
No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelSonLaserVision.com.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Catch up on all of today's Next Round on demand through the podcast platform of your choice. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcasts. Wherever you listen, always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you never miss any part of the Next Round.
Get all your favorite Next Round gear all in one place, nextround.store. From our Next Round hats to the logo tees to the all-time best-selling Y'all Can Have the Red shirt, you can look your best by shopping with us at nextround.store. Take the Next Round anywhere with nextround.store. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
All right, Brownie's got an update on the selection show time tonight.
6 to 6:30, a 30-minute window before Florida and Duke tip.
Yeah, so that's 6 to 6:30 Central,
right.
7 to 7:30 if you're watching us on the East Coast, Eastern time zone today here. Before we talk Alabama and Georgia, our little Twin Peaks fact of the day is this. 82 bowl slots, perfectly filled up by 82 teams. The SEC is going to come up with 2 vacancies in their bowl groupings that'll be filled by other teams. But if someone drops out due to attrition, like we did with Marshall last year, if you just had so many opt-outs or portal people that aren't going to play in the bowl game,
You'll have one of those teams every year.
the first 5 and 7 team that would get an opportunity to fill that slot for a bowl,
Florida State.
The Auburn Tigers.
Oh, they go alphabetically?
The Auburn Tigers.
How does
They do
Auburn,
not.
how does Auburn get?
That would make the most sense.
Yes.
It's the academic progress rate, and
okay.
Auburn
I
is
forgot
the
about
highest non-bowl team there. So Auburn is waiting. I don't know how Alex Golesh feels about wanting to coach in a bowl situation, but those 15 practices can be valuable. And, I guess you don't know what's going to happen to your roster portal-wise.
This will be a first, right?
What?
I mean, Auburn, a 5 and 7 bowl.
Yeah,
You don't see that a lot.
You don't see it a lot. I'm with you. You'll probably see it more and more as long as these bowls survive.
It's got to take somebody's got to drop out first before Auburn becomes a player there in the bowl scenario. Brought to you by our friends at Twin Peaks.
No one does happy hour like our friends at Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, they've got everything from tequila cocktails, extensive bourbon category, top shelf spirits and cocktails, served over the ice balls, local craft beers, handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out an adventurous drink menu second to none. And don't forget about those signature 29-degree drafts. The Twin Peaks girls running around in 3D, serving those things up. Get in for lunch, dinner, for all of your NBA and college hoops action. It's going on right there at a local Twin Peaks.
Hey, listen, it wasn't clean for Ty Simpson. Well, let me say this. It wasn't his best numbers day down at Jordan-Hare Stadium, but it was clean. No turnovers, and that was huge. 19 of 35, 122 passing. Those numbers, his lowest of the year. But 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumble. keeping it all clean. The impact of having Ryan Grubb on the field in that atmosphere on the sidelines. Here's Ty Simpson on the SEC Championship game teleconference.
It was great. Like you said, right, the first time was Eastern Illinois, so it was a little different. But I think it really gives not just me, but our whole offense in general, just a sense of confidence for him to be up and down, on the sideline, talking to us, telling us what he sees, giving us, some boost of confidence, just words of encouragement, and just kind of brings the whole guys in the unit together. So, and he sees some things also as well that he can't see from the box, just demeanor and things like that. So, we've really enjoyed it so far.
That's Ty Simpson on Ryan Grubb being on the sidelines. We'll get, as we get closer to kick Saturday, late afternoon game in Atlanta, we'll get more details hopefully about Ryan Williams and where he is physically and mentally in this offense and how things are going into the Georgia game. First blush, you yesterday were leaning Alabama to win this game. The point spread has gone up to 2.5, which I think I've learned over 16 years with you means a lot of people are betting Georgia, and that's made the points go up to 2.5.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is public money right now. I think people look at this and they're like, outside of the way Georgia played against Georgia Tech, Georgia was playing their best football. So looks like a little bit of value. But again, when you start to break this down, Alabama's won 10 of 11.
Yeah. And you made a good point yesterday on that Georgia offensive line. And if you watched Clean Old Fashioned Hate, it showed. Their offensive line was banged up, especially with Drew Bobo, who sat the end of the game with a walking cast on, or walking boot on, I should say. And it showed. I mean, they struggled to move the ball effectively against Georgia Tech. It was a tough offensive day for the Bulldogs, who had looked so good prior to that.
I would say that, just with the eye test, Georgia has been playing better football lately than Alabama since they met in Athens. I thought Athens was Alabama's peak moment. But I would tell you, when you go units, Alabama's defensive line and Alabama's offensive line, and I'm not saying when they're all healthy, Alabama's offensive line is better than Georgia's offensive line, but I think Alabama's offensive line with Formby at guard is starting to play its best football of the year right now. It was really good against Auburn.
I saw Colt Kubelik and some of the people that break down the film singing the praises of Michael Carroll. Apparently he had a really good game on the right side for Alabama.
Absolutely.
And then that allows you to move Formby in, who's a bit oversized. He's a big guard.
He is.
Which, brings a set of issues for him that he has, there's a reason a guard is the size of a guard, and he's the size of a tackle playing guard. Yep. And that's not always a good thing. It's going to create some leverage issues. But I sound like I've read that. I don't mean like I'm an offensive line genius. Right. But I do know he's oversized for a guard. Obviously, he's tackle size.
But he's using that size now in a small box, as opposed to having to do the kick step and all that to get out wide. So if you I know anything about offensive line.
I know. So you read that somewhere. So if you can depend on Carroll Lance, a freshman at right tackle, if he's playing that well, that shows you, I think, why Alabama maybe had some run success that they have not had of late.
Yeah, I just wonder how much success this Alabama offense can have against Georgia's defense, because if you go back to the 24-21 loss to Alabama, since then they're 7-0, and they're only giving up 15 points per game. I mean, the defense, although, they don't get after the quarterback like they used to as far as the numbers,
for them,
they still aren't giving up any points.
Yeah. They did get after Arch Manning in that huge contest. That was their best pass pressure game against the Texas Longhorns this year. Even in the Alabama-Georgia game, the first meeting, Alabama's offensive success was in the first half.
Yep.
And then they had to hold on in the second half. A little adjustments, and Kirby Smart had things kicking. Here is Kirby talking about the gap between the loss to Alabama early in the year to the rematch now in Atlanta. Does that gap sort of take away or help in a rematch scenario?
Does the gap matter in terms of the dynamics of a rematch?
No, I mean, unless you just beat up and got a lot of players missing, which they're pretty beat up. We're pretty beat up. The gauntlet of the stretch that they played and we've played has, impacted both of our seasons. I think, we both had people coming in or coming out of lineups the last time we played, and now you look at the long spell between games, 7, 6, 7, 8 games, whatever it is. It's both teams are coming out of and coming into injuries. But in terms of the X's and O's and the schemes, in terms of the gap, I don't think so. I mean, you evolve as a team, you have trends, but good teams do what they do. There's not going to be a lot of change, and both these teams are good teams.
Yeah, a rematch scenario, does that factor in when you look at games like this?
I don't know. I mean, look, the totality of the history, but I think this game's going to play out more, at least right now, like the second half did in Athens.
Yeah.
And you guys remember that was 7-0 Georgia.
Yeah. Well, you had me believing yesterday you liked Alabama to win this game.
No, I do.
Both your comments right now sound like it's Georgia.
No, I think Alabama's offense. I think Georgia's offense is going to have a problem with Alabama. I just think it's going to be a low-scoring game, and I do like Alabama to win the game.
I think sometimes you just we like to say, and we being fans and people like us, like to say, oh, Texas is playing. I mean, Georgia's playing really good. They whipped Texas. They did. They beat Georgia. Whatever. Sometimes it's just about matchups. It's just a bad matchup sometimes. And Oklahoma is obviously a bad matchup for Alabama. You guys would agree with that, right? It is. They've lost 2.
I'd say no.
I think Alabama, if they played Oklahoma again, they're a 7-point favorite. And
they
probably
might be, but Alabama cannot figure out Oklahoma's defense. They couldn't last year. They couldn't this year.
Alabama had over 400 yards of offense. It was the turnovers. It was the self-inflicted mistakes. I think Alabama is light years better than Oklahoma.
You can't just say all those are self-inflicted. Oklahoma's got to get some credit for creating those turnovers. One was a bull rush from the blind side that knocked the ball out of Ty Simpson's hands. That's a great defensive play. One was a pick where Simpson either misread it or he got baited into throwing a pick, and it turned into a pick six. It's great. I'm just saying, Alabama and Oklahoma, it's a bad matchup. I agree 100% with you. I think Alabama's the better team. It's the point I'm making. Alabama's the better team than Oklahoma. It's a bad matchup for Alabama. In the NFL, you see it with your Rams. San Francisco's a bad matchup for y'all. Y'all don't beat San Francisco a lot.
Typically, San Francisco.
Yeah. So my point is, you see this sometimes where it's just a weird matchup, and I think.
Now, I will say this though: Alabama had to go to beat Georgia by 3 on the road, 397 total yards, 13 of 19 on third downs, and 0 turnovers.
That's what has changed. That third down conversion wasn't good again at Jordan-Hare Stadium this past week.
And the turnovers.
Yeah, it's a key, getting the turnovers, not turning it over, and being really good on third down when your running game is getting a couple yards like it was at Georgia, and then a couple more yards in third and short, and you made a lot of those, especially in the first half to win it. I told you yesterday on the show, and I'll say it again just for emphasis, I think Ty Simpson sees the Kirby Smart, Nick Saban style defense better than he does the Brent Venables, DJ Durkin style defenses, because he was so familiar with running it early on in his time in Tuscaloosa, when he spent a lot of time on scout teams and a lot of time looking at that defense, that scheme, when it was that scheme in Tuscaloosa before Nick Saban left. So I think he's very familiar at looking at what he will see from Glenn Schumann and Kirby Smart. Their challenge will be to try to confuse Alabama's quarterback, who's now a lot more experienced than he was in that game in Athens.
I'll apologize to the chat room for suggesting that a team out-schemed to beat Alabama. That's my fault. Alabama clearly just gave the Oklahoma game away 2 straight years, so that's on me. My apologies, chat room. I am sorry to suggest a team could actually out-scheme and beat Alabama. That's on me.
The show being brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness. Before LT tells you about a good place to get steaks, I want to tell you at Way to Wellness, you can enjoy the great steaks. You can enjoy the great seafood, the great chicken, or all the wonderful things you want in life. You're managing it, right? You're managing your health. You're managing your wellness, and that's why it's in the name. Way to Wellness. Leslie and her board-certified team, a planforme.com. What are you trying to accomplish? You want to lose a little weight? You can do that. Jumpstart that with a planforme.com at Way to Wellness. You can maintain the weight you're at as you get a little bit older and your metabolism changes. Maybe you need a special eating plan to help you with sleep apnea. They've got that for you. A variety of things. A planforme.com. No contracts, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free, whether you're looking for injection therapy, meal replacement, protein bars to help with bad snacking. Whatever it is, they can help you. Planforme.com, Way to Wellness.
How about the gift of steak for Christmas? Gift cards from our man Jim at the New York Butcher Shop, and let them choose from the ribs, the chicken, the pork, the incredible steak, specialty items, the made fresh in-house sides every single day, from those baked beans, the goat cheese, mashed potatoes, the mac and cheese, a fantastic selection of fine wines and desserts. Get into either one of those locations, the original Cahaba Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. Go see Jim and the great staff. Tell them the next round sent you. Rare quality, well-done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
Hey, real quickly on National Signing Day tomorrow, before we do the viewing menu, and then Clay Travis at the top of the hour. If you like music, Taylor Hicks in the final hour of the show today to tell you about his Christmas Spectacular here in Birmingham. So he'll be with us in hour 3, Clay to start hour 2. But wrapping up hour 1 here. National Signing Day tomorrow. USC is expected to be the number 1 recruiting class. Alabama, Georgia, others are going to be in the mix there at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in that neighborhood. Zion Gibson from Gadsden City, a 4-star cornerback, committed back right before Christmas last year to Alabama. And then this weekend, I believe it was on Sunday, he made a point that he would be announcing at Gadsden City on December the 3rd. And there you see, yesterday he tweeted, this is all from Hayes Fawcett, that he will sign with Bama on December 3rd. And then 9 hours after making that, Gibson decommits, telling Hayes Fawcett. He decommits. Right after that, Hayes Fawcett reports, 7 minutes after Hayes posted that, Zion's mom jumps on her account and tweets this. This is Zion's mom. Take your post down to Hayes Fawcett.
All right.
That's 7 minutes after it was posted. Then 1 hour later, Gibson announces that he isn't leaving.
Okay.
And will sign with the Crimson Tide.
All right, that's guy likes a commitment, man. He sticks with it.
Yeah, December 3rd. So
Glad
all that
Bob got
happened.
involved.
All that happened in a matter of hours, taking me back to that national. It was the U.S. Army game that used to be a big announcement day, where it looked like an Alabama player was going to. His mom wanted him to go to
Landon Collins, right?
Wanted him to go to LSU.
Yeah, that was the
awkward.
Army All-Star game, right? That was the one.
Yeah. It couldn't be more awkward than that.
She was upset.
Yeah. And he picked Alabama.
Yeah.
And she.
By the way, pretty good call by him.
Yeah, she stuck with it. Landon Collins was fantastic in Tuscaloosa.
Went to the NFL.
We'll
Not
see
that
if
he
mom
couldn't have at LSU.
We'll see if mom knows best here with this 4-star corner from Gadsden City. But that was a wild ride. By the way, Auburn lost to 5-star safety Braylon Womack to Mississippi State. We'll see if that sticks for tomorrow's signing. He a long-time commitment to Auburn, but with the coaching change, is to Mississippi State right now. Here's the unique thing that we could get tomorrow. Well, actually, one of them won't happen until Friday. The second best quarterback in this class is a 5-star quarterback named Keyshawn Henderson. He's expected to commit to Houston. 5-star quarterback, second best quarterback in this class, expected to commit to Houston. He's number 2 behind only 5-star quarterback Jared Curtis, who is longtime commitment to Georgia. But the belief is that Jared Curtis is poised to flip his commitment from Georgia to, wait for it, Vanderbilt.
Wow.
He's a Nashville native. Clark Lee and them have been working hard on him. And there is some belief that Jared Curtis could leave Georgia's stock and be a 5-star quarterback commitment to Vanderbilt there in his city of Nashville. He is moving his commitment from Wednesday to Friday, so he will not announce tomorrow. So if he does flip from Georgia, longtime commitment is the number 1 quarterback in this group, to Vandy, your 2 best quarterback commitment 5-stars could go to Vandy and Houston.
I mean, that is.
wild. Houston's not with the Tillman guy.
Oh,
the guy
Furtada.
The guy that owns.
He owns a bunch of restaurants.
Yeah, Joe's Crab Shack or whatever.
But it's NIL money. I mean, I'm just saying that those are not the normal paths for the 2 best quarterbacks in a recruiting class.
Well, I mean,
it's another sign of a different world we live in.
It shows you the NIL commitment for Clark Lee.
But I also think it shows you Clark Lee knows I got to get a quarterback.
Oh, there's no doubt he knows that. He knows that the whole reason he's where he is they hit quarterback lottery.
Yeah, because their roster was good, but their quarterback was exceptional at this level.
I feel like we do not give enough credit to Eli Stowers in that same transaction. I was watching the Tennessee game. That guy makes catch after catch after catch for Vanderbilt.
Cedric Alexander's really good running back as well.
Yeah.
That offensive line played well. It's a good football team that's not even being mentioned in the conversation.
No, they're not getting in. But I'm just saying, if Clark Lee can get him another good quarterback, look out. I mean, why can you not keep winning at Vandy?
I did want to ask you guys, though, what other 10-2s, even with that schedule in the SEC, would be so far removed? I mean, it's brand.
It's a name brand issue.
Yeah.
Clark Lee has said that we're being punished because
if that's LSU right now, same record, are they in?
Yes.
Yeah.
With the same wins?
Yeah. Well, their wins don't stack up to some. You know, Texas has better wins.
But
I get that, but they're still 10-2. I'm just saying LSU, I guess, would have started at a different place than Vanderbilt.
And LSU's losses would be Texas and Alabama if they had that same schedule.
Yeah, they'd be in.
Yeah, Alabama.
A close game to Alabama ended up a close game to Texas.
If those were the two losses for Alabama at 10-2, there'd be no debate. You know, their debate is the Florida State loss looks so bad. If Alabama had lost to the equivalents of Alabama and Texas, there'd be no discussion. Alabama was in this thing.
The unfortunate thing for Clark Lee is South Carolina, number 11, when they beat them, they fall apart. LSU, number 10, when they beat them, they fall apart. Missouri, number 15, when they beat them, they fall apart. And then Tennessee, I don't know if Tennessee will be ranked after losing by 21 at home.
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
by the way, all those impact Alabama too. All four of the ones you mentioned.
But if you're the committee and you want to make sure nobody's bitching about Vanderbilt, just drop Tennessee all the way out.
Yeah,
right.
That's going to hurt your argument with Alabama, though, too. So we'll see if that helps Vandy's argument, though it doesn't get them in, to also support Alabama's argument. Again, that's 6 o'clock Central tonight. Michelson Laser Vision and the viewing menu before we get to Clay Travis.
Number I called over 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. That is the number. Very important. Ask for Amy Teller. The next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, they are the best in the business. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. 2015 vision. After that, make the phone call that I made. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
All right. First off, we've got a new Netflix comedy special, Matt Rife, Unwrapped, a Christmas crowd work special. I haven't seen any of his work, but I do know he's popular.
You've never seen Matt Rife?
I have not.
Very funny, very unplanned. I mean, it's all playing off the audience, and he's very quick-witted, which I appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, is he always that good? Because, I mean, obviously the clips I've seen are really, really good, but it reminds me of T.J. Miller. You know, he doesn't really have an act. He just goes in and finds a guy's sweatshirt and then takes that and evolves 3 hours later. He's still going. But the Matt Rife guy looks pretty funny, though.
Scott saw him live. I mean,
from what let me see if I can get this right, Forrester. Not as good as we see him on social media.
Yeah, those would definitely be the highlights. But his show is funny.
Yeah,
but you had sweat in your eyes the whole time, right? Wasn't it 1,000 degrees? It was the first.
It was hot.
Event
It was
at
the very
amphitheater.
first show at the new amphitheater.
Yeah. But what LT is talking about in Brown is what I see on social media, and I find it all funny, him reacting to the audience.
Right.
I didn't know you said he had a planned routine first. Is that correct?
Yeah, he does that first. We had thought about taking Haley with us that night.
Glad you didn't.
I'm glad we did not. It's that's a little bit raunchier than the social media clips.
Interesting.
Next up, we've got a new release on HBO Max, Hard Knocks, in season with the NFC East. And this will follow the Philadelphia Eagles, the Cowboys, the Giants, and the Commanders during the final stretch of the season. From wins and losses to injuries and adversity, the series will capture an inside look at life in one of football's most historic divisions, and it will be narrated by Liev Schreiber.
Yeah, that might be interesting because you look at Jaden Daniels going out. You look at Dable getting fired, Jackson Dart going out. What Scadaboo and Dart did.
Turn around for the Cowboys.
The Cowboys, the Eagles right now, the dysfunction that's going on. That might be pretty good, actually.
Are you feeling okay today? You put a little sports in your viewing. Are you feverish?
I was just going through the new releases and thought that might be a good one to throw in today.
Throw in a sports show, yeah.
Yeah. HBO Max has also added Shin Godzilla to its catalog. I really like this Godzilla movie. It's more of a political thriller take on Godzilla, but definitely in the upper echelon in terms of quality of Godzilla movies because there's a very wide range.
Yeah.
That's the Tyler I love. Welcome back,
I
man.
try not to mix my Godzilla and politics, but
Sometimes it's hard, yes.
It works. It weirdly works.
Sean Hannity fighting off Godzilla at 8.
And then finally, Hulu has added the greatest Christmas movie ever made to its catalog, and that is Gremlins.
that's a very good one. Much better than Christmas Vacation.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And that's what Tyler is watching. Brought to you by our friends at Michelson Brown. Sneaky, actually knowing what time Hannity is on every night. That's really good that you know that.
I haven't watched that.
Keep that.
Can
keep
you
that-
imagine somebody? I tell you what, he didn't do enough in the Godzilla situation.
That's right.
Some bitch, we ain't voting him back in.
Inflation's bad. Godzilla's back.
Odie's takes us to the top of the hour. Clay Travis on the other side.
Odie's Tavern tomorrow night. We'll be out there for Odie's Team Trivia. We do it every Wednesday night. But if you're just looking for a great meal, this is perfect chili and grilled cheese weather. You can get some fabulous chili from Rodney Davis and all of the guys right there at Odie's Tavern. 2 locations for lunch or dinner. Live music on Thursdays and Fridays, and a great place to watch all the games. The original Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Get in and see Will Avery and that great staff. Birmingham Institution. It's Odie's Tavern.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Yo, kinfolk, what's good, man? Let me holler at you for a minute. You know how life can be life. You're out there chasing that dollar. Every dollar is accounted for going somewhere. Then all of a sudden, bam! Out of nowhere, a car accident. All I had to do was hit up my people at Alexander Shannara Trial Attorney. You already know when that dude Alex pulls up the trial, he shuts down the litigation situation. Yo, go to Shannara.com. Hit him up at 659-777-7777.
Call me, Alabama.
No representation that legal services provided are better than any other provider.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Next Round shirts, Next Round hoodies, and Next Round hats are all in one place. NextRound.store. Find your favorite piece of gear from your favorite show and put it in your rotation. You never know. You might be in one of our videos showing Next Round gear being worn all over the world. Find all your favorite Next Round gear by visiting NextRound.store. Place an order for you and that big Next Round fan in your life at NextRound.store. Look your best at work, at school, at the stadium, or anywhere you go wearing Next Round gear from NextRound.store.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles, The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a Bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and Bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Show 1091 gets us to Clay Travis, brought to you by our friends at Alabama Power today.
If you have not checked out Alabama Power's new customer tools, you are missing out. They are free, they're easy to use, and they help you save money and better manage your electrical service. Rate Advisor is like a matchmaker, but for your rate plan. Make sure you got the right plan. Bill Explainer explains your bill in just plain language you can understand. And Energy Assistant, connecting customers with savings programs and financial resources when they need it the most. So check out all those tools right now at alabamapower.com. Clay Travis is the founder of Outkick on social media at Clay Travis, with us now on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline. What is up, Clay? How are you?
I'm great. How are y'all?
Doing fantastic. I know it's probably tough to see the power shift to Vandy in your fair state there, but it doesn't last forever. You can't hold power forever, and Vandy's the team of the state of Tennessee, the Volunteer state right now. I know it's got to be tough to deal with.
Well, I'm a Vandy Law alum, so really, I mean, if Tennessee's going to lose, as long as it's not to Memphis, then I'm pretty comfortable with it being Vanderbilt. Honestly, I don't know where you guys are, but I think Diego Pavia should win the Heisman Trophy. What he has done the last 4 games, I do think he's probably the most important player in college football. I think he's lifted Vanderbilt, frankly, to a level they've never been to before. I don't know what you guys think. I think Vandy would definitely beat Oklahoma on a neutral field right now. I think Vandy would have a very good chance of beating Texas A&M neutral field, Alabama neutral field. I think they have gotten better as the season has gone along. Look, their resume is not bad. Lose at Alabama, lose at Texas. I wouldn't have ever believed we'd have 6 SEC teams finish 10-2 or better. Obviously, Texas thinks they have a claim at 9-3. This is honestly kind of the perfect year to have a 16-team playoff, because I think the committee is going to have a really difficult choice to make here in about 12 days or so.
Hey, look, I definitely think he's going to be a finalist, Clay. I think there's a possibility outside if both Sayan and Mendoza struggle Friday night or Saturday against really, really good defenses. I think that's his path. I think it really hurts that he didn't get in. But my question to you, Brown was kind of joking somewhat about the power shift, but they did beat Tennessee by 21 points. Do you see a world that Vanderbilt could have the upper hand on Tennessee for a little bit of a stretch, 3 to 5 years, or do you think that's impossible?
I think that's impossible, candidly. Look, I saw a stat that once Tennessee lost to Oklahoma, I was actually surprised they played as well as they did against Florida and, whipped Florida on the road. I think once you're not a playoff team and you come into the season with playoff expectations, I think it's going to be hard to elevate yourself to compete at a really high level. I think if Tennessee wins a bowl game, to the extent that bowl games matter at all, Heupel will be at Tennessee alongside of Alabama, Georgia, and maybe Texas. I think Texas is the answer, as the only 4 teams in the SEC to win 9 or more games 4 straight years. I think Tennessee's got to figure out what they're doing at quarterback. I think if Josh Heupel were on the show with you right now and he was being 100% honest, I think he would say we whiffed a little bit in the portal. And we whiffed a little bit with the money that we committed. Nico obviously did not pan out. The resources they put into him didn't pan out. Boo Carter was a disaster relative to what he was being paid. He was a big-time recruit, played very well as a freshman, did not do anything as a sophomore. Tennessee let a really strong safety leave and go to Miami, Jacoby Thomas, where he has been all ACC caliber safety. And then I think if you go back, Tennessee's 2 starting corners, both of whom might be first-round draft picks, The one tore his ACL in the offseason, never played. The other one got injured in the first half of the first game. And so Tennessee was starting a true freshman, the same true freshman who got burned on that 4th and 6 when Georgia came back to win that game. So I think Heupel feels pretty good, notwithstanding the results. You change a couple plays, Tennessee's in the playoff. And I think Vanderbilt's just playing at an elite level right now. So I'm pretty comfortable that Tennessee will be a 9 or 10 win team again next year and be in the same position they were this year, where if you make a field goal or you get a key stop, you're back in the playoff like they were last year. So, no, I think the big question for Clark Lee, and I've got a kid who's early decisioning Vanderbilt, so, I hope they keep winning at a high level. And I hope he gets in there. Vanderbilt locking up Clark Lee for 6 years. I think they're going to flip Jared Curtis. I don't know if that's official yet, but that's my prediction. 5-star, maybe top quarterback in the country. And we'll see to what extent this was a build that Diego Pavia took to a different level, and to what extent it is a sustainable top 25 caliber program that Clark Lee has built. I think it's a really intriguing question going forward.
Don't forget, more of Vol Call can come your way tonight at Thompson Bowling. Clay Travis is with us. To the real question at hand, Clay, Alabama locked in the playoffs or not locked in the playoffs just because they earned the spot into the SEC championship game?
I think they should be locked in. I don't think that – and look, Alabama, I was critical of Kalen DeBoer. I thought Ty Simpson played an absolute balls-out game. I mean, Auburn just hit him and hit him and hit him. And I thought that Kalen DeBoer going for it. I'm sure you guys have talked about it a lot. I was stunned. I would have kicked the field goal. And I don't think I lacked for balls. But that was a ballsy coaching move that paid off. That was an Iron Bowl epic. I mean, it felt like the last, once Auburn came back and evened it up, but it felt like the last, 60 plays of that game were, you were on the edge of your seat waiting to see what was going to happen all the way basically to the end. And so I think Alabama deserves a lot of credit. They won the tiebreak over Georgia, which would mean that they would default be the SEC champions. And I don't think the SEC champions should get knocked out of the playoff based on what happens in one game in the championship game, when they would be in if there were no conference championship game. So diehard, longtime major Alabama booster Clay Travis says the Tide should be in. And the other part of this, I would say, one caveat, because I do think the committee has opened this up, and we saw it unfortunately happen with Carson Beck last year. If Ty Simpson got injured, and Alabama lost, 42-3 to Georgia or something like that, there are extreme circumstances where I think you can go back and reassess. But if we get the kind of game that we would expect, a competitive 4-quarter game against Georgia, Alabama can certainly eliminate any doubt by winning, as they often do against Georgia, as the underdog, at least based on the last line that I saw. But I think Alabama, for the 99% of the outcome should be in. I also think, by the way, guys, we shouldn't have conference championship games anymore. I think most people probably agree with me. If you got co-champs, you got co-champs. I don't mind it at all. I think a lot of Texas A&M and Ole Miss people are actually kind of happy that they're not playing in the conference championship game. We saw last year Georgia basically lose their title chances when Carson Beck got knocked out for the season in a game, frankly, that wasn't that meaningful for Georgia relative to being able to be in the playoff. And so I wish we started the playoff earlier. I would personally go to 16. I would eliminate all conference champion automatic bids, and I would just say let the committee seed 1 to 16, and let's get out and roll. The first two rounds of the playoffs. Let's see if we can play them on campus in an ideal world. But at a minimum, the top 8 teams should host in a 16-team playoff. That would be my ideal construct.
I mean, Clant said it on the show with us yesterday that we're watching these things die in real time. It does kind of feel that way. I mean, it does feel that way.
Yeah, look, I mean, I just think, I mean, you can say the same thing about Ohio State, Indiana.
Yeah.
I don't think people care because you want to. It's a little bit like the conference basketball tournaments. You kind of just want. If you told me, hey, your team's going to lose, but you're going to win 2 playoff games, most people would sign up for that. I think a lot of times when conference basketball tournaments are played, top teams are like, let's go ahead and lose and keep our guys fresh for the actual tournament. I feel like that's kind of where we are. And look, I think that frankly, Duke going up against Virginia makes a bit of a mockery of it in the ACC too. When Mario Cristobal is going to be on the show with me a little bit later this afternoon. But to me, Miami is the best team in the ACC, and they should be in. And I think the committee 1 to 16. I would eliminate non-power conference automatic bids if you can't get in the top 16. I don't think you deserve a spot, and just take the 16 teams that the committee ranks as the best. I think this year that would be hard to argue with. I mean, and again, there's always going to be some argument, but I think if you're at 17, just like if you're at 69, I think it is in the NCAA tournament, people might say, oh, they got screwed. Doesn't last very long, and people almost immediately say, hey, if you weren't good enough to get in the top 16, it's hard to have a lot of sympathy for you.
He was only in Knoxville for a very abbreviated time, but damn, those offenses were good. How well do you know Auburn's new head coach, Alex Golesh?
I don't know him well personally, but I think it's a really good hire. I think you hit on it. The challenge that Heupel has had is he's tended to promote from within, and Alex Golesh was a tremendous offensive coordinator. A lot of people in Alabama will be familiar with him from those games, but also, I mean, Alabama played back-to-back years against South Florida, and he really took Alabama, for everything they had. Obviously went on the road, beat Florida this year, which looked like a big win earlier in the year. Built that program at South Florida up. So I like the hire for Auburn. I think it's a good choice.
One part of the SEC football world I don't like is that week before rivalry week, we lived it not this past weekend, but the weekend before this, where Alabama had Eastern Illinois and all that. It looks like it's going away, at least from Alabama's perspective. They've announced today they're moving USF to 2032. They've added Chattanooga to replace USF. So Alabama will open the year Eastern Carolina, Chattanooga, Florida State the first 3 weeks. And then their other 9 games will be all conference games as we move to 9 SEC games. Do you feel like the end of the year, November specifically, should be all SEC games? You should not play any out-of-conference games except for the ones that are already grandfathered in with your ACC rivals?
I don't know. I think teams should have the flexibility to set up the schedule as they see fit. Part of me thinks that opening week of college football, when teams that have had no prep at all go out and play against really, really good opponents, is great for the sport. And so if you told me, hey, Alabama is going to be playing a major conference foe, or Texas, or whoever it is, but they're going to take a little bit of a breather late in the season when the teams are beaten up, I think the coaches and the athletic directors should be able to make that choice. I've always thought that criticism was unfair. I don't, like, why does it matter if you're going to play a clearly inferior opponent? To me, the time to do it is early in the season, right? Like, I think that actually makes more sense because you avoid a major competitor. But the more challenging thing to me is actually going straight week 1 with no preseason. Even the NFL, they get 3 preseason weeks, and suddenly you're playing like a Notre Dame Miami week 1. I think that's good for college football. I'd rather have really great week 1 Labor Day opening weekend matchups. And I do think what you're hitting on some level is a valid concern, which is we need like a national scheduler of college football to make sure that the games are spread out. So there's 2 or 3 good games every weekend. Because I do think some weeks we end up with 7 really good games, and other weeks there's like barely 1. The NFL doesn't do that. I think college football across the board, if they scheduled better, could avoid some of these concerns.
Hey, real quick to the NFL, the roster needs to be made over. I mean, outside of guys like Jeffrey Simmons, and I think Cam Ward's going to be a stud, how good can this Titans job be with the new stadium being built?
Well, look, I mean, I think Nashville is one of the best cities. I'm biased, but I think it's one of the best cities to live in America. Rapidly growing community, safe, pretty high income, just a good city, right? So I think there's a lot of guys that would like to coach. We're going to get a Super Bowl, which is amazing in a few years. New stadium should be awesome. Covered roof venue that will allow year-round use for big events, whether it's college footballs, concerts, whatever you're interested in. There's going to be WrestleManias and, like I said, Super Bowls. But ultimately, the question is, I mean, the quarterback matters more than the head coach. And look, I mean, I don't know that you're ever going to recover from firing Mike Vrabel and having him maybe the greatest coach of his generation. I mean, I think that could be a tough one to get over. And seeing what he's doing with Drake May at the Patriots, including last night, the beatdown that they put on the Giants. So, I look at it and say I'm not as confident in Cam Ward. I hope you're right. I've watched every game. I think it's hard to judge him because the Titans are so bad that I feel like he'd be better served right now playing on another team. But I'm bullish on the city of Nashville in a big way. And I like to think that there are a lot of coaches that would like to have their families here. You guys know this. The reality is for most coaches, and sometimes I feel like this too, it doesn't really matter what city they're in because they work so much. It's more about where their wife and kids are going to be comfortable, right? You walk into a facility in the NFL during the season, and I know it's cold in Green Bay, and I know it's warm in Miami, but it's not like these guys have incredible lives during the season. They're working all the time. It's really more about the family. But I think with a new stadium and a city that would be attractive to most families, I would like to think that the time. Look, if I had the money, I would love to have a substantial stake in the Tennessee Titans. I think the long-range trajectory, as bad as it is still positive.
All right, he is Clay Travis, founder of Outkick. At Clay Travis on social media. See him as well on Fox. Clay, thank you very much for the time. Have a great week.
All right, I'll see y'all.
All right, buddy. Clay with us on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline.
And the show today being brought to you by our friends at Bojangles. They bring you the tender moment of the day.
And you can make it bow time at Bojangles, that holiday party. You want a creative catering idea, Bojangles has it for you. Those great hand-breaded chicken tenders, the fried chicken, the great sides, the biscuits, the tea. Those Bo Bites, hand-breaded chicken tenders, peach honey pepper dipping sauce to dip those things in, which is terrific, by the way. That can be yours for lunch or dinner or one of those great parties that you're throwing this holiday season. So whether it's breakfast on the way to work or school tomorrow, your lunch or dinner, a holiday party, a college football or NFL watch party, Bojangles has it covered for you. Make it bow time.
Our tender moment today is Abdul Carter's browsing history. No, I'm kidding. It is. It's the
That's
news.
not tender.
It's the news that Dickie V, Dick Vitale, and Charles Barkley are going to team up and be the analyst on 2 live broadcast basketball games. The first one is December 13th when Indiana and Kentucky play each other. Say a silent prayer for Dave O'Brien, who will be the play-by-play guy in that game. And
take the night off.
We'll get a paycheck to
Yep.
say probably the fewest words he's ever said in a broadcast before.
I saw this was coming. I forgot what they call it, some kind of Legends meet or something, but I didn't see any of the other pairings. Are there other pairings outside of, because you're not going to get much better, much iconic than Dickie V and Charles Barkley.
I just know Dickie V and Barkley are doing 2 games. They're doing December 13th, Indiana, Kentucky, and they're doing one of the first 4 games in Dayton. So they're doing an
wow.
NCAA tournament game.
Really?
I don't know if it'll be the one that involves an HBCU or...
think they're hurting on ratings, maybe?
Yeah, man, that seems weird, Dayton.
But it's going to be Dickie V's first ever NCAA tournament basketball broadcast.
Yeah, that's hard to believe. You would have thought when he busted on the scenes back in the early to mid-'80s after his coaching that he would have gotten a couple of those.
I guess they didn't have the rights to it. My childhood, the NCAA did a lot of the first round games.
CBS didn't have the rights.
Their own TV products, and they sold them to local affiliates. But I guess Dickie V didn't do that. But what I read would be his first tournament game broadcast. Barkley with him on both of those, December 13th and the first 4. 2 iconic guys. And that's our tender moment of the day, brought to you by our friends at Bojangles. Let's get to 4 downs. It's Sleep Home Alabama time. CPAP Plus, the folks there,
sleephomealabama.com.
Yeah, they've got a good promotion going on right now. Our friends Woody and Joe O'Neill, they've got locations throughout the state of Alabama. You can go to sleephomealabama.com for more information. But they want to remind you, it's the Show Your Score promotion right now from O'Neill Medical and CPAP Plus. Just stop by one of their stores. Pelham, Trustful, Inverness on Highway 280. No appointment needed. Show your ResMed My Air Sleep Score, and you're automatically entered to win a brand new ResMed Air Mini Travel CPAP worth $900. It's that simple. The Show Your Score raffle, it's going to go through December 31st, so don't miss out. You need to go online now. You can go to o'neillmed.com. That is ONEAL med.com.
First down.
By the way, last night, I never thought Drake May would be a good quarterback, probably because of what the other North Carolina quarterbacks had done before him when they got to the NFL.
Right.
But again, I know it was the Giants, but 282, 2 touchdowns. Clay mentioned Vrabel. That team, 11-2.
I know.
They look so good. They should have wear those uniforms all the time. They look
agree.
spectacular in them. What a game last night.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of noise they're going to be able to make, and that's where we're going to start. Who is the best team in the AFC? Record-wise, they've got it, 11-2. Denver's right there at 10-2, and then there's a significant drop-off. But if you had one team you trust to make a deep January run in the AFC right now, who is it?
Is that first down?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a chance that the Ravens or the Chiefs or both could miss the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
That AFC North is so bizarre, though, Jim, because Rodgers is hurt now. I mean, he came back down on that.
The Ravens have got that division. I don't care if they're coming off a loss or not. But back to the Chiefs. Chiefs lose to the Texans this week. I think their percentage is like 15% to make the postseason.
Yeah, but how about how good the Bengals looked with Joe Burrow.
That's what I was going to say. When you just gave it to the Ravens, I'm like, I get what you're saying. Cincinnati's got another game with Baltimore in a couple of weeks, or maybe next week. They just drilled them with Burrow back. They cannot lose another game. Cincinnati can. I get it. But if Cincinnati wins out, doesn't that put them at 9-8?
It would put them at 9-8. That would probably win the division at that point because they would have 2 games on Baltimore. Now they're 2 games back right now, but the problem is their defense. I just don't see a world they live in.
But it played better against Baltimore when Burrow was back.
A lot of turnovers.
Well, but that's because of how bad Lamar Jackson and Baltimore looks right now, both sides of the ball. I hate to say it, Brownie.
I don't have a single AFC team I trust to make a deep run. One of them will have to, but I don't have one I trust.
Chargers, Herbert's got a hand injury, and they may have a surgery situation there. Yeah. I hate to say it, but
Buffalo?
It's going to be Buffalo.
But I
don't trust any of them.
I don't trust any of them. I wouldn't argue against you with Buffalo. You know, I was big on Denver all offseason.
Colts have the hood up right now.
And the only one I wouldn't want to play is Buffalo. Like, if the Rams win the NFC, one team I don't want to see just because one game situation with Josh Allen. Yeah. I think all those other teams are very big. Yeah.
But, I mean, if, Bo Nix does just enough with that offense, that defense is elite, and they may end up with home field advantage. I know that's sort of back and forth right now with them in New England.
But I think I might trust C.J. Stroud a little bit more.
Yeah. Is there a chance that the longest home win streak in the NFL right now is in Denver? Seems like I saw that over the weekend or something. Yeah. So they could get home field through that. That's a tough question, man.
I don't trust any of them. That's my answer. I don't trust a single AFC team.
I don't either. I think I would go Buffalo right now. The Texans are really close.
Yeah.
Second down.
Ashton Jeanty, 22 years old today. If I asked you ultimately, better Boise Bronco career, Ashton Jeanty or Kellen Moore, your head coach for the New Orleans Saints?
Counting his coaching?
Yeah.
Right now, counting is, it's not like Kellen Moore's tearing it up. It's not his fault. I mean, they're rebuilding.
It ain't Genty's fault. Genty's got 8 touchdowns behind maybe the worst offensive line in football.
What a bad final chapter for Pete Carroll. I mean, I'm not going to remember him for this, but I'm also not going to forget it.
Dude, we've got 5 games to go, and they've already given up 46 sacks.
I know. What a bad final chapter for your guy. You love Pete Carroll.
I do, man, and it's the lasting look, the way it ended in Seattle to the way it has begun and probably soon to end.
You know how Pete
Vegas?
Carroll, it's so weird how this does it. It's like being president of the United States. Pete Carroll was always a young-looking old guy. He gave young vibes for an old guy until he got this job.
Right.
He just looked ancient in this job.
Yeah, he looks his age now.
Yeah.
It's just sad for guys like Mason Crosby, one of my favorite defensive guys. Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers. You've got really good pieces there.
Yeah, that's right. They don't have a quarterback. That's the problem.
Well, that offensive line, I don't know anybody that can play quarterback right now behind that offensive line. I'm going to go Genty ultimately, though.
I will go Genty ultimately. Titans, Raiders, Giants, Saints, and Cardinals all eliminated from the playoffs with 5 games to go.
I mean, that's hard to do in the NFL. 5 games to go and you're already out.
To not even have a shot at a wild card.
Well, I mean, the crazy thing is, we talk about how, cyclical the NFL is, all the parity. When you've got New England and Denver both with, 10 and 11 wins, and you got the Bears right now, the 1 seed in the NFC, that's crazy.
Hey, here's a second down after a penalty. Vol fan in the chat said, worst ending, Pete Carroll or Russell Wilson? I'm going to say Pete Carroll because you continue to see Pete Carroll every Sunday. Russell Wilson's bench, you don't even see him.
You saw him on Thanksgiving Day.
You
He and Sierra and the kids were at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade.
Yeah, I saw where Sierra performed Macy's Thanksgiving. I mean, look, he's got a ton of money and he's got a Super Bowl ring. Pete Carroll's still going to be known as having the better career.
Yeah,
now, the worst ending,
I don't know. It's been a bad ending for both of them.
Third down.
Aaron Rodgers, 42 years old. Ultimately better Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge.
I think I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers.
Statistically, I've been thinking about this. Aaron Rodgers, where he is right now with Mike Tomlin, if you look back as a Steelers fan and Mike Tomlin, I know he never had a sub 500 record, but he's got 1 Super Bowl championship. Aaron Rodgers, with all of that talent, 1 Super Bowl championship. And they had the number 1 seed a lot in Green Bay.
How many rings does Aaron Judge have?
0.
Jim, I mean, could you say, if I say Aaron Judge...
Easier for a quarterback to get a ring.
It is, but if I say Aaron Rodgers, top 10 NFL quarterback of all time.
He's in the conversation. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'd probably say yes.
Aaron Judge, top 10 Yankee of all time.
And it's a discussion still.
I mean, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know, Lance. I mean, let me give you automatics, all right? Babe Ruth.
Yep.
Mickey Mantle.
Yep.
Lou Gehrig.
Yep.
You're going to give me that?
Yep.
Would you go Whitey Ford?
I don't know. I would definitely go Yogi Berra.
Yogi Berra better?
I would definitely go Jeter.
All right, that's 5. We're up to 5. I hadn't named a pitcher yet, by the way.
But look at Judge's age. If he continues to stay healthy, I mean, he is just next level.
Don Mattingly? You wouldn't put Mattingly in front of Judge?
I mean, just so you know, Brownie, Aaron Judge, American League MVP 22, 24, 25, 3 of the last 4 years. Won the batting title this past year.
It's
single season home run record in the American League history in 2022. Leads all sorts of statistics.
Yeah, I think it's close.
Year.
I'm just saying, like this last thing, Aaron Rodgers basically with blood dripping down his face, calling out his receivers.
I know, for not playing hard enough.
I mean, his career is basically over, and Judge is right there.
Surpassed Yogi and DiMaggio this year on the all-time home run list with the Yankees.
And how old is Judge? 29.
He is currently.
So, yeah, he's a top 10 Yankee.
Yeah.
But I just went top 10 quarterback, and you had to go top 10 on his own team.
Aaron Judge is currently 33 years old, a little older than I thought.
Yeah.
Born in 1992.
DiMaggio's better.
Probably right now.
Joe DiMaggio's better, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Fourth down.
I know Scott loves these questions.
Mariano Rivera. Would you put Mariano Rivera?
Probably right now, yeah.
So that's 7, by the way. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Britney Spears, 44 years old. Ultimately better career, Britney Spears or Marcus Freeman?
He's chuckling back there.
Scott's chuckling?
Yeah.
Figured I'd get him on that one. I mean, Brittany's kind of plateaued out, right?
Yeah, but she's always going to be more known than Marcus Freeman. Being a great college football coach doesn't put you on the stratosphere of being a high-end entertainer, which Britney Spears was for a good period of time. Marcus Freeman, at his craft, is probably going to be better than Britney. I don't know. Britney was really good in her prime.
Often called the Princess of Pop.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go Britney Spears, believe it or not.
Yep. Best-selling artist in history, according to AI.
Ooh, I don't know if that's right.
Yep.
Best-selling artist in history?
Yeah. Best-selling music artist in history, credited with influencing the revival of teen pop music in the late 1990s, early 2000s.
Okay, I thought Rihanna outsold her, but
well,
who knows? I would go Britney Spears.
The pop music. I don't think Rihanna would.
I think she would.
Pop artist, best-selling pop artist.
Pop music, yeah.
I think she kind of hits a lot. R&B, pop, rap.
Yeah.
6 number 1 debuting albums.
I didn't know Britney Spears had that many albums.
Yep. 8 Grammy Awards.
Yeah, it's going to be Britney. Now, Marcus Freeman's going to have a better end of his career if we want to go who finished their
We
career
hope.
better again. It's going to have to crash and burn to be worse than Britney's.
Yeah,
Lance.
you really, really hope.
Yeah. I mean, he'll get bought out and go home before it gets as bad as Britney's. So
Yeah.
I'll go Britney, better career.
I'll go Britney.
What's she doing with her life?
And that is 4 Downs today. Brought to you in part by our friend Dr. B. A little bit more college football conversation in the next 25 minutes before we get to Taylor Hicks. Dr. B will make sure that you are always covered up top.
Yeah, hey, look, stop wasting money, critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Go see Dr. Beckenstein. Find out what will work for you. Men and women ordering products online don't even know if they work. T3's got that test. Easy, painless, affordable. Takes seconds to perform. For more than 25 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B and that great staff today. Tell them the next round sent you. 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Yo, kinfolk, what's good, man? Let me holler at you for a minute. You know how life can be life. You're out there chasing that dollar. Every dollar is accounted for going somewhere. Then all of a sudden, bam! Out of nowhere, a car accident. All I had to do was hit up my people at Alexander Shannara Trial Attorney. You already know when that dude Alex pulls up the trial, he shuts down the litigation situation. Yo, go to Shannara.com. Hit him up at 659-777-7777.
Call me, Alabama.
No representation that legal services provided are better than any other provider.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Get all your favorite Next Round gear all in one place. NextRound.store. From our Next Round hats to the logo tees to the all-time best-selling Y'all Can Have the Rest shirt. You can look your best by shopping with us at NextRound.store. Take the next round anywhere with NextRound.store.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today, in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Catch up on all today's Next Round on demand through the podcast platform of your choice, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcast, wherever you listen. Always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you never miss any part of the Next Round. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954, That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
All right, let's get to our spotlight today, and it's going to be pretty interesting. Before you hit that opening, Brown, explain to me what's going on and how you read this. Word in the industry, according to, I believe it was The Athletic that was reporting this, NBC is shopping the Big Ten title game for 2026. They have the right to broadcast that. Their asking price, if you want to buy the rights to broadcast that game from them, is $70 million. Now, for context, $70 million is the neighborhood that Netflix pays to broadcast one game on Christmas Day from the NFL. So basically, the rights to broadcast one NFL game is what they're asking for the Big Ten championship game. Primetime on NBC, $70 million is what they're asking. What do you read into their shopping this? They pay a lot for that. I think that ends up being like a fifth of what they pay annually to broadcast Big Ten games, Big Ten games.
I mean, Fox is going to have 1 versus 2. I still have not. I've been looking all day for the TV ratings to see where Ohio State, Michigan hit. It's not going to stun me if Ohio State, Indiana is the most watched college football game before the playoffs.
I don't know. So I would say they're selling high 1-2, but there's no consequence to losing the game.
That's right.
Like I go back last year, Oregon beat Penn State. They ended up being the number 1 seed. They were undefeated. They ended up losing game number 1. So you've had a little variety, but like, what's Indiana really going to bring into this? And if it was the old school BCS where 1 or 2 was going to be out, then it brings a lot of intrigue. Like the Christmas Day Netflix. The standalone game's always going to whip this game.
Yeah. 08, 09, Alabama, Florida were peak championship games because maybe the 2 best teams in the sport, loser was going to be left out.
2012 Georgia.
2012 Georgia, yeah. Those were meaningful games. It's meaningful, it feels like, Saturday for Alabama just to guarantee your spot in the playoffs. There's nothing. I don't even think there's a bye on the line in the Indiana-Ohio State
listen,
game.
I don't disagree with you. I'm not saying that it's.
What happens if you pay $70 million and there's not even a game?
Well, I guess they get their money back.
You get your money back.
But I'm just saying,
you got to keep your receipt.
I'm saying you're selling high right now at $70 million, but I think the bottom's about to drop because I wouldn't be surprised at all if the ratings for these games are not good. I think Alabama, Georgia will be.
I think they will be because it's standalone football. What else is going on Saturday night?
Well, you have the ACC championship game opposite of that.
That'll be dismal, Duke and Virginia.
You don't think people are dialing in to watch Duke try to wreck this?
I do not.
To make this embarrassing.
Can you imagine if you're Texas and you're watching Manny Diaz, the guy that got Taysom Hill paid with the Saints, that got Manny Diaz fired because I think he rushed for 400 yards as BYU's quarterback against a Manny Diaz Texas defense. If you're a Texas fan, we can't get in the college football playoff, and Manny Diaz has got a 1-game situation to get Duke there with 7 wins?
So you assume that. I mean, the ratings tonight will educate us some on that. They may be playing that game for absolutely nothing.
Let's do the spotlight. It's time to hit it, Tyler. Let's do it, man.
The College Football Spotlight.
Sound the alarm. College football's upset alert.
It is brought to you by our guy Alexander Shinara. When you are in need of a trial attorney, Alexander Shinara is the place you go. Shinara.com, Shinara.com. He is a guy that is Birmingham born and bred. 25 years now. He's had his firm right here in Birmingham. More than 150 attorneys work for him now. More than 500 employees, and they are all dedicated to making sure you get what is due you. And they've done that to the tune of more than $2 billion. Billion with a B. $2 billion that have been recovered for their clients. You can see more, and when you're in need of an attorney, you start right there at Shannara.com. Shannara.com.
The spotlight is I want you to rank 1 to 5 for me. You don't have to use the dry erase board. 1 to 5. The worst Lane Kiffin exits in his career. I'll recap for those scoring at home. 1 being the worst, 5 being the least. Remember, he was fired by the Raiders, and Al Davis with a scorching post-firing news conference of all the ineptness of Lane Kiffin. He left Tennessee after 1 year, and riots were breaking out. At USC, he was fired on the tarmac. Saban fired him in between the national semifinals and the championship game because he wasn't doing his job. And then this Ole Miss exit right before the playoffs with all this chaos. What is the most, or the worst, I should say, Lane Kiffin exit?
Boy, they're bad, but I would think I would go Tennessee at 5. You name your kid Knox after 1 season, and basically you're like, got my dream job, I get out. At least it was 1 season. I mean, it wasn't great, but that wasn't that bad. Then it gets bad because everything, somebody sent me the Al Davis video a couple of days ago, and they're like, you got to watch it. It's really long, but it's very telling on everything he said about Lane Kiffin. And I remember a lot of people taking both sides. Like Kiffin is 33 years old back then.
It was your fault for hiring him, man, way before he was ready.
Yeah, you wanted him out after a year. You gave him a 2-year contract, blah, blah, blah. But that's still, now it looks a little prophetic. So I would go Raiders 4. I would go USC on the tarmac. That is bad anytime you get fired on the tarmac. Alabama, in between winning a game in the semifinals and playing for the national championship, you get rid of your offensive coordinator. But I don't think it was as bad as what just happened.
No, this is the worst one. Ole Miss is easy one. That's easy one. The firing. I mean, the one thing I will say about the Alabama firing is by the time Saban actually did it, the fans were all for it. Like, there was not outcry that you fired Kiffin. I think they were ready for him to be gone.
But I think they thought they still could beat Clemson without him.
Oh, they did, because Sark was going to call plays. That was when Sark got promoted. I think he was just an analyst.
But I think in retrospect, you'd be like, let's just hold on to his ass for a little bit longer.
No, see, I remember it differently, Brent. I remember the fans were not happy with Lane Kiffin, but I don't think everybody had heard what was going on behind the scenes, and Sark had been horrible with the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to let this guy call plays? And
man, that was a blur for me. Like, I was at that Washington-Alabama game, but what did we talk about? Like, it should have been the biggest of big deals that you fire your offensive coordinator before you play for a national championship.
Should be, yeah.
Was it a massive deal?
Oh, it was. It was because Sark had been so bad with the Falcons.
Yeah.
He was rehabbing his image in Tuscaloosa. Jalen Hurts had been declining as the season went on in his he's a true freshman. But the numbers were not there at the end that had been there at moments earlier in the year. And you were just relying on was it Bo Scarborough, who got banged up in the first part of that game? It started off great in Tampa, but after his injury, big gap of non-scoring for Alabama. A lot of punts. That defense gets gassed, and you get a late touchdown. And people were trying to figure out, man, if Kiffin had been there, he would have found ways for them to score more points in that gap of no points.
After the fact, though, like, I think one of the reasons probably it wasn't as big of a deal is everybody just believed it's Saban.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, in Saban you trust, but the way I remember it, and maybe I'm remembering it in revisionist history, is the offense was bad against Washington. They won that game like 24-3, didn't they? Or 24-7?
20-9, I believe.
Yeah, I remember John Ross scored they scored the opening touchdown.
They did. It was 7-0. Yeah, it was 7-0. Look it up. I think it was 24-7.
That might be right. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Because Clemson, Ohio State was just as bad right after it.
Yeah.
But anyway, the importance of the story is not the score.
That's right. So, but my point there was Alabama's offense struggled in that game.
24-7 was the final score.
They had struggled in that game, and I think it was a shock to the system when you saw Nick Saban say, "I know we're about to play the national championship game, but I'm telling my offensive coordinator to pound sand and go on to Florida Atlantic." And then I think word between Washington and Clemson started to leak out of what they were dealing with, and more people were like, I kind of get it now. Maybe we didn't know the full story, and maybe the entire full story is not public even to this day.
A lot to I agree. Like I think you're saying with Lance, it's Ole Miss, Saban, USC, the Raiders, and Tennessee in that order. He treated this Ole Miss, getting out of Ole Miss before the playoffs, like there are not going to be job openings ever again in college football. Like, I've got to take this LSU job. because there's never going to be a good job open again. It's the way he sort of handled this.
But how many jobs are technically better than LSU?
Not many.
Yeah.
But you could think maybe, heck, Texas could come open still a little bit this year. It's not going to shock me if Sark fills one of these NFL jobs.
I think I'd rather be at LSU.
Yeah,
I think given the choice, I think the only thing he would have picked over LSU was Alabama. If
wouldn't that be awesome though if Texas opens and Lane Kiffin diverts
goes to Texas? Yeah,
it'd be interesting to know if he's signed that contract yet. Before we get to the top of the hour and our friend Taylor Hicks joins the show, the show is being brought to you today by our friends at the Pants Store, pantstore.com. One more thing before we get to Taylor. Pantstore.com gets you a lot of things before you get to Christmas. You get your Christmas shopping done right now online at pantstore.com, or you can get a lot of locations here in Birmingham. I had dinner really close to the one in Hoover last night. I didn't even know that one was right there, right near our friends at Walk-Ons, just off I-459, near the Hoover Met. You got a pants store there. They're all over Birmingham. They're in Tuscaloosa, Auburn, Huntsville. But you can shop anywhere you're watching or listening to us at pantstore.com. Pantstore.com. All the name brands from Gentil to Antigua, Cutter and Buck, and the great polos and the hats and the quarter zips with Bama and Auburn gear, but a lot more, including the dresses and the rompers and the boots and everything for the woman in your life. It's all at Pantstore, pantstore.com, pantstore.com, and our friends at Hemp Hill LT.
205-229-2090. Whether it's cold out there, you need to make sure the heat is ready to keep up with this changing weather. The answer is our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information on the company that Alabama and Birmingham has trusted since 1954, go online, hemphillservices.com.
All right, so the College Football Playoff Committee gives us a big look on how they feel about Alabama, Notre Dame, and Miami tonight, 6 o'clock Central, 7 Eastern. We'll talk about that tomorrow. For Alabama, getting ready to play for the SEC Championship, cut number 15, Tyler, if you will, Ty Simpson on the SEC Championship game teleconference, talking about facing Georgia again, this time even on a bigger stage than the last time they played. Remember, though, for Alabama, they had really played nobody since the Florida State loss. So beating Georgia in Athens was a, hey, we're okay in Tuscaloosa moment. That was a huge game for Alabama. This one, even bigger. Here's Ty Simpson.
This is an SEC championship, right? Like this wasn't something that committee picked or, whoever picked, right? Like we earned this. We went through a tough schedule to get to this position. But we also got to understand, right, that this isn't the same team that, we played a couple, months ago, right? Like, they've found a new identity and, they've got it rolling. So, we got to go and understand that our mindset doesn't need to change, that this is going to be a heavyweight fight. Last time we played them, like none of that means anything, right? Like they're going to have a chip on their shoulder and something to prove. And we know that, what's at stake, right? Like this is, why you come to Alabama. This is, what you dream about as a kid, like playing in the SEC championship. And that's what, we need to make sure that, we kind of see it like that.
I told you two places I think Alabama's actually playing better than they were then, and that's their defensive line, though they started to really play good there. And I think their offensive line is playing maybe their best football of the year, though they were really good that night in Athens. There are several places I think I can point to where Alabama's not playing as good.
Okay.
One of them right now is the receiver position. Bernard seems to be banged up a little bit. Something's happening with Ryan Williams right now, whether it's injury or just can't get open. Whatever's going on, it's not producing a lot right now. Isaiah Horton's playing well. No Josh Cuevas in this game again I don't know how big of a factor it was at Auburn. Felt like it was a little bit of a factor.
What, tight end?
Yeah, tight end.
Oh, I thought it was a big factor.
Yeah,
so those guys behind him just nowhere close.
I thought they did okay, Caleb Edwards and those guys, but nowhere close to what Josh Cuevas, to your point. So I'm not sure the receivers are where they have been. Can the running game do what they did that night? And it wasn't overwhelming numbers, but it was all so much positive yardage on first and second down runs. I don't know if they can do that again this time around, seeing how crucial. And then LT hit the one that is the biggest stat maybe of the season for Alabama. How good they were against Georgia on that night in third down conversions. I can't believe. I mean, how many times do you get into a game where you've got 19 opportunities at third down?
At 13 and 19. And I remember Kirby at halftime saying, we can't get them off the field.
Yeah.
And they did make the adjustments, and they shut Alabama out in the second half. But Georgia's defense playing much better than it was playing at that particular point. I mean, Jam Miller, that injury's huge, right?
That one doesn't bother me as much as Cuevas.
I'm not sure, and I have said this for a couple of weeks, Daniel Hill's not the better running back. Now, it hurts you in depth. Obviously, if you can go Miller and Hill with a 1-2 combo, and now A.K. Deer, your guy, is going to have to step up and give some serious snaps for Alabama.
But Brown Miller was so good Saturday night.
He was good.
He
was.
Low pads, but leg churning. He played a great game.
I think Hill's the better running back. And listen, it's really not the issue of whether Hill's the better running back or Miller's the better running back. Having both of them, to your point, Lance, is the big deal. I got two of them. Now I've got one of them, and what is A.K. Deer? I mean, there's a reason. I don't think they dislike A.K. Deer at all, but he was fourth on the depth chart when everybody was healthy, right? I mean, you had Riley in front of him until he got hurt.
Broken jaw.
So there was a reason Deer was fourth, his youth. I mean, he's a very young guy, obviously. Explosive guy. People are excited about him, but he's going to have to play some serious minutes and make some serious carries for Alabama in this situation in the SEC championship game. That's a lot to ask of a freshman who's barely played this year.
Yeah, Ryan Williams, I mean, look, wasn't a huge factor against Georgia in Athens, but we remember the game last year.
Yeah. Always good having him out there. You got to pay attention to two when he's on the field. We'll see what Ryan Williams brings under the big lights at Mercedes-Benz coming up Saturday, 3 o'clock kick as Alabama and Georgia battle for an SEC championship and an automatic spot in the college football playoffs. Tonight, we start the ACC-SEC Basketball Challenge. Now, Alabama and Auburn play tomorrow night. Alabama at home to Clemson. Auburn at home to Will Wade's NC State team tomorrow night. But tonight, you get North Carolina, Kentucky. Kentucky a 5.5-point favorite, even though Jalen Love and Mo Diabate both expected to miss that game with injuries. Still, Kentucky a 5.5-point favorite against North Carolina. Florida, defending national champs, at Cameron Indoor tonight against Duke. Duke a 7.5-point favorite tonight. Both those games on ESPN. Duke first 6:30, then Kentucky 8:30. Cam Boozer at this point for Duke, 21.1 points a game and 9 rebounds a game. Currently, 2 points and 2 rebounds a game better on average than Cooper Flagg was at this point.
I was going to say, I mean, look, there's no drop-off from Boozer to Flagg. As good as Flagg is going to be and as good as Flagg is playing right now for the Mavs, there hasn't been a drop-off.
Tennessee, Syracuse tonight. Virginia Tech, South Carolina. Sneaky good game, Oklahoma, Wake Forest. Bucky and A&M, a 3.5-point favorite at Pitt. Miami and Ole Miss. Georgia and Florida State. Missouri and Notre Dame. Remember, it was this night last year and tomorrow night, these 2 nights, when the SEC sent a statement to all of college basketball what kind of year they were going to have, and it led to 13 teams in the NCAA tournament. The SEC has a good reputation now, but what do you think they need to do in this ACC-SEC challenge?
Well, I think more important for the ACC.
Yeah, it is definitely more important.
Much more important for the ACC.
What did they have last year? 2 wins? 1 win? It was something extraordinary.
Bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
I think it's how
like
the top of
14
your,
and 2.
I think it's how the top of your conference looks. So, Tennessee, Alabama. These are teams you expect to win their games. It's a little trickier for Kentucky. Obviously, North Carolina has played well. It's extremely tricky for Florida. I think you judge this by the top of the conference, and it's easier to judge when you got like versus like. I don't know, some of these top teams have like versus like. North Carolina, Kentucky is, Duke, Florida is. Alabama, Clemson, is that like versus like to you?
Clemson's a 6-1 team. They haven't played Alabama's schedule, but that's become a pretty nice rivalry in recent years.
Tennessee's playing Syracuse.
NC State just had a bad loss. They're playing at Neville. Auburn's looked really good.
Yeah.
But it's a talented NC State team, though they lost to a team they shouldn't have lost. I forget who it was.
They've got an excellent coach, too. I mean, that guy knows what he's doing. So.
Oh, it was out in Maui. They lost a couple of games at Maui. One of them to Seton Hall. They weren't supposed to lose. So that's, as you're betting that game tomorrow, take that into a factor. That NC State just played 3 games out in Maui, and they're flying back to the East Coast and turning around quickly and playing at Neville Arena. So wherever that point spread comes out tomorrow, check.
The
Remember the old bad
and
leg.
that was
jet lag adjustment.
Texas lost 102-97. NC State.
Oh, is that their only loss?
No, they've got a loss to Seton Hall too.
Yeah. But Texas was
in
the other
Maui.
one.
Yeah. But NC State lost to Seton Hall first and then lost to Texas there. All right, so that's the ACC SEC Challenge happening tonight and tomorrow night. Alabama and Auburn home games tomorrow night. And we'll talk more about those games and hear from the coaches tomorrow before they play those contests. The show being brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
205-969-8100, the number that I called back in 2003. Dr. Mort Michelson, first to perform the laser procedure in the state of Alabama way back in 1995. Best in the business. Him and Dr. Jen Michelson make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have zero to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. For more information, MichelsonLaserVision.com.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, UCA right there, taking care of you now for over 70 years right here in Central Alabama. 205-930-0920, UrologyCentersAlabama.com. Everything from prostate health to kidney stones, vasectomies, they'll take care of you guys. And remember, early detection literally saves lives, and they can help you stay on top of that from your 20s to your 30s, 30s to 40s, and so on with the best urologists in the business. 205-930-0920, or find one of the great 16 locations at UrologyCentersAlabama.com.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Honey, a while back, life knocked me flat on my behind. I was hit by an 18-wheeler, and Lord of mercy, it left me hurting. Now, I heard through the grapevine that Alexander Shannara had recovered big money for some people. You been hurt? Can't work? Don't sit there suffering. Call my people at Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. Ain't gonna cost you a dime, so pick up the phone and dial 659-777-7777 or go to Shannara.com, because when I called, Alexander Shannara answered.
Call me, Alabama. No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you, 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit UrologyCentersAlabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the show brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Man, 57 degrees the high today, some spitting rain out there. You know what soothes the soul on a cold November, actually December day now as you're waiting for this SEC championship? Hot fried chicken, man. Southern comfort food. You get it, it's brined overnight, it's cooked to order, it's crispy, it's juicy down to the bone. That's how Sterling does it on Highway 119 in Alabaster. And the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, if you hate tamales like I did until I tried the Mississippi Delta recipe tamale, it's a game changer. It's part of the experience at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go see Sterling and the crew.
So long time friend of the show, former American Idol winner. He's going to be performing live at the Lyric Theater a week from Friday, the 12th. He's going to be performing Van Morrison and Christmas Classics. The one and only Taylor Hicks joins us in studio.
I like these. This is nice digs over here.
Oh, thank you. I forgot this is the first time you've been here.
This is the first time I've been here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Really? I thought you've been here several times.
Listen, I've always done remote stuff with y'all, and you know we've done the regions, but like
I thought we'd done this show with
I
you
thought
up
so
here
too.
No. This is the first time that I've been. It's all nice and cozy.
Well,
and,
speaking of nice, I hate to admit this, I've never been to the Lyric.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Are you
Yeah.
kidding?
Yeah,
I've
I've
been to
never
the
been to the
Lyric's
Lyric.
fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
we'll
man.
have to change that. I mean, look, it's an old vaudeville, theater, but those vaudeville theaters were built with no idea of electric sound, so it's all based on acoustics. So the acoustics in the Lyric are just killer.
Yeah. Is the old vaudeville, I mean, basically what you were doing off Broadway, Grease, those kind of theaters?
Well, yeah. Yes, exactly. But this one was like this one's smaller. I don't know what the date of the Lyric was built, but it was, It had to be early 1900s, right when Birmingham was getting. I mean, it stayed vacant for 75, 80 years. And I had no idea, living and growing up in Birmingham, that there was a theater that was next to the Alabama Theater.
Yeah, I know. The Alabama's so well known. And
Right.
the Lyric is literally across the street.
The Lyric is literally across the street. I had no idea that there was a theater there, but it's a perfect number of seats for me, especially when I do the Christmas show. It's not as big as the Alabama Theater, but it's actually the only 750 seat theater in Birmingham and surrounding areas.
And to your point on the acoustics, I've seen Need to Breathe, Lumineers, and Drew Holcomb there, and I've seen others, but those three, and at all portions of their show, all three of them, they put the microphones away and they come out front and they sing a song with no microphones just because of how good the acoustics is. All three of them did that.
It's amazing. And you know what's interesting? The Ryman Theater is very similar. Up in Nashville. It's an older, church, but it was, it was made for, it's a singer's room, and the Lyric is a singer's room, So I'm excited so I'm doing, this is my 10th year doing the benefit for Toys for Tots thing. We bring the Marines in, and they come in dressed in their blues, and we do a big tribute to them, and they pick up the toys, and it's been really fulfilling for me to get to see friends and family, but then also to add that charitable element, during the holidays.
It's a random question because you've been doing this now at a high level for 20 years. But, sitting back watching Detroit and Green Bay on Thanksgiving, Jack White comes out and does halftime. And then you see, at the very end, Eminem creeps out, a Detroit native, and does Lose Yourself with Jack White. I've always heard that people that perform the Super Bowl don't get paid a dime. For appearances like that, halftime of a Thanksgiving, are they compensated, or is that something they just do?
It changed over the years. I think in the last 5 or 6 years, I think production companies, television channels, TV shows think that they've started getting smart in the aspect of like, we're not going to actually pay you an honorarium. We will split maybe the production with you of however much you want to spend on production. So it's always interesting if you see like the Super Bowl, or if you see, some of these halftime shows and stuff. So you can tell how much money the artist is keeping by the level of production in the show.
That is interesting.
So it's always interesting to see that, because if you see, like, and I think as AI enters the picture of, some of these halftime shows and some of the Super Bowl stuff, I mean, you're not going to be able, you don't have to pay for all the production.
Well, it's funny you say this, because a couple of weeks ago, the first time I've ever been to SoFi, Warren G did halftime. And it was just him. There was no production. So I guess he pocketed every dime.
Just think about that, from now on, you look at it, and as these that's the reason why back in the day you see the Michael Jacksons, those kind of Prince and all that. It was truly, an invitation. We'll take care of production. We'll create the vision. But when you're looking at it now, as some of these television shows and stuff, I had to pay to be on Ellen DeGeneres.
Wait a minute.
On the TV show?
It's probably worth it with the publicity you would get from the Ellen show, right?
Pay for, 10 years ago, like I would say, right there towards the end, of Ellen's run and stuff, they were like, if you want to, we'll give you the slot, but you're going to have to pay for, production. You're going to have to pay for union fees. So they started, and if you wanted to get the play, you had to pay.
Is that pretty common? Do you think like on those talk shows like that where you see musical acts?
It wasn't common when I, there for the first 10 years I got in the business. But it became, the needle started moving, and as I was releasing products, and releasing songs, new songs, singles, doing stuff where I needed production, not couch time necessarily, then all of a sudden it was like, hey, you need to pick up the tab for this.
Wow.
And so it started getting, and that hits, if you want it, you're taking a gamble, because you're gambling on hoping that somebody likes the song or the record or the show, but then again, you're having to pay, Ellen's production crew and everybody to have that 2.5 minute time slot.
It's almost like an advertisement.
So am I wrong on this, saying that I would assume like American Idol was kind of the coup de grace, at least that moment in time, but outside of that, like these 20 years, was the residency at Paris like the next best thing? And I don't want to call it low-hanging fruit because it's a grind, but to get a residency and to know that you've got this built-in crowd that's coming to see you night in, night out, and you've got the consistency of that gig, was that maybe the second best thing you've done?
Yeah, I probably think so. Look, the Broadway run itself, just because of how big Broadway across America, that production company is, that was when it's always nice to have that kind of to be able to piggyback on that kind of fan base, and when I say fan base, I mean that from a Las Vegas standpoint, and I don't think, from what I gather, people just aren't going to Vegas anymore, and I don't know whether that's because it's too expensive, and again, when I was there, it started becoming that way, but you could go to Vegas pretty inexpensively when I was around, and I felt like
Stella's $17 now. I mean, it really is. They used to basically give beer away.
Yeah.
It's crazy, the Vegas pricing now. You're right.
Stella is $17.
Depending on where you buy it. Yeah, like
For
it's
a
just,
bottle? Like a bottle of
yeah,
Stella?
a bottle of Stella, $17.
That's steep, Taylor.
Yikes.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. I felt like I caught.
Cheaper to go on Ellen DeGeneres than buy Stella. Buy a 6-pack of Stella.
True. Yeah, it was. That was. I felt like that was kind of the last golden age of Vegas. Hopefully, it'll come back. But that gig was special, and I'm still breathing and living from it.
Yeah.
On Twitter, I'm getting some people that listen to us or watch us in Franklin saying, "Are you opening for Little River Band on Wednesday?" Is that true?
Yeah, that's a sold out show, I believe.
They're saying they're going to see you. They're not there for Little River Band.
I hope they don't mind me singing a couple of Little River Band songs. But yeah,
no, I think that's part of. I think that's part of the Taylor Hicks experience. People that started following you at the Floribama and other places, they enjoy your covers as much as your originals and anything else. They just love to hear you and see you entertain.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been doing it a long time, and I'm doing the Franklin Theater. That's a really, really beautiful little town, obviously outside of Nashville, that really does. Becomes really festive. They got the Christmas lights, and kind of reminds me of Homewood a little bit. How they do all the lights and stuff. And then there's a really great charity that the Little River Band, Wayne and Rhonda Nelson there. They, Wayne's been with the band forever, and they live in Nashville, and they do a big charity there. And tomorrow night will be a really fun night. And yeah, I'll probably be singing Reminiscing. Or however many other songs. They got 90 minutes of hits.
Do they
really?
Mean,
I sang with them.
I mean, they're 6 decades.
No, I saw them at Riverfest in Gadsden. This is 100 years ago, but you remember old Riverfest in Gadsden right there on Macon? Yeah, because, I grew up in Anniston, so I was on a 30-minute drive. But it was them and Alabama followed them. They were good, though. Little River Band, I remember being good.
I sat in with them at the Orion Amphitheater this summer when they were doing a run with, it was Little River Band and Three Dog Night.
I've seen them, too.
And, when I walked back, I got backstage, and I walked into the Orion, and it was completely full, And I sat there, and I watched Little River Band do 90 minutes of hits. Now, I don't necessarily think that they had number ones, but they were consistently in the top 10 for a decade at least. 8 or 9 really, really big hits.
Are they Lonesome Loser? Is that them too?
Lonesome Loser. Reminiscing.
Yeah. They were good.
They got 90 minutes, he said.
90 minutes of hits. That will keep you working in the business for a long time.
So the night I saw Three Dog Night, it was, so back in the day.
Dude had a heroin problem, right?
I don't know. I don't know the story of Three Dog Night. Are you tight with them before I tell the story?
I don't know. I don't know them. I know Little River Band.
I hope I'm right on that. That's a big swing and a miss.
It's a big swing and a miss. You at least said dude. You did not.
You're allowed to do that on your own. On y'all's own show now. You can swing all you want to.
I mean, Taylor writes songs. I saw, you're such a, I'm sure you enjoyed the writing aspect. I think I saw Three Dog Night. Was it Joy to the World?
Yeah.
That it was they were just trying to fill the content that for an album that the band was almost about to break up, that the other people we want to write some songs too, whoever wrote the songs. And you mean concepts of shows and bands, you go through ins and outs. And the guy was like, sure, I love being in the band. Everybody divide up this next album and write some songs. And they get to the recording time, and nobody else has any songs except the guy who's been writing all the songs. You guys griped about it.
That's right.
And now nobody has songs, so he had to bang out the song, and he banged this one out just to fill the album, and it became their biggest hit.
So growing up in Anniston, Fort McClellan, the military base, was still open.
Yeah.
And the Department of Defense, they had a closure list, and Fort McClellan was on that, and it was going to kill Anniston's economy, and it has, right? So obviously they felt bad about it. So the last Independence Day that Fort McClellan was open, the Defense Department put on this massive concert for the city in this big field. And it was Kansas, Three Dog Night, and Lee Greenwood. Because you had to bring Lee Greenwood to sing his only good song. Well, I don't consider it a good song, but his only hit, right? No offense to Lee. I don't know if you're a Lee Greenwood guy either. So there was somebody else. There was like these other undercards, right? And Three Dog Night, like their equipment truck got lost or broken down or something. So the keyboardist didn't have something he needed. So there was this huge delay in the show, and they announced it. And Kansas is like, we'll just go. So Kansas goes on and does their set. And I'm like, Who does Three Dog Night think they are? Kansas is much bigger than Three Dog Night.
Kansas should have just done Three Dog Night songs.
We'll sing their one song you wanted to hear.
So who is
Kansas was good live, too. I don't know if you ever saw them live.
The most excited you've ever been about being on the bill with them?
Oh, man. I was always like to, I was going to do Regis and Kelly one morning, but they called me and bumped me for Van Morrison. And
ironically, you're doing Van Morrison next Friday night at the Lyric.
Yeah, I mean, even though I got bumped for him, I'm still going to do his songs Friday night. But that was a really great. I really enjoyed meeting. Look, when you do these kinds of morning shows, especially if you're on the East Coast, I mean, you guys understand this. I mean, it's a 4 a.m. hit. You get up and do production at 4. So anytime you want to be on these shows, you want to do a song or so, you've got to be up in the morning. And I was in New York at the time, and they called and said, "Look, we're gonna put Van on. He's releasing a DVD." I said, "Look, I'll be there at 4 if you'll let me in the door so I could meet him."
Oh, really?
So they
That's
actually
cool.
let me in, and him and his wife were sitting in the green room, and that green room has been pretty interesting over the years. President Trump was my host for Regis and Kelly twice. When Regis was called out, Trump was actually the host. So Trump and I actually sat in the green room twice at 4 a.m. in the morning and had some conversations, and that because Regis and Kelly have been on. I mean, that show was on, 50 years?
Yeah, it was Regis and somebody else.
Yeah, it was Regis and, who was it?
Kathy Lee Gifford.
Kathy Lee Gifford.
Frank Gifford's wife, yeah.
But that was one of those moments that I guess I wasn't co-billing with Van Morrison, but I got bumped for him, And now that I'm playing his music next Friday night, I'm excited about that because he's a guy that I studied for years.
Yeah, he and Bob Seger. You've done a lot of Bob Seger too, so that's obviously something you're just comfortable with, and you're
vocally it matches up, and song wise, I can really I can sing those guys really well.
A week from this Friday, December 12th, 8:00, Lyric in Birmingham, and you can get your tickets as always. Ticketmaster.com. You can jump in there to see Taylor Hicks and Mood Dance performing Van Morrison and the Christmas Classics. They're at the Lyric Theater coming up, playing the hits of Van Morrison and other Christmas classics there. Will you have a fireplace, like the picture indicates? Do you dress as Santa?
That I might have spent all my money on Ellen DeGeneres.
Production says
you
no
go pay some short people to be elves running around.
And it benefits the Toys for Tots,
Don't
of
give
course.
me the ideas, Lance. Actually, if I did that, you would actually show up.
Yeah, I'll be at the Lyric. Hey, so you've dabbled in other genres. Talking about. I think you've done a little country. How blown away are you, like the flawless transition from Post Malone to like? I never thought that Post Malone would be like a country artist, and he's taking it seriously. And there's a big fan base behind Post Malone, obviously.
I think that they've embraced him. I think that if look, the transition from pop to country is very hard. Obviously living in Nashville now for 20 years, I see people that try to come into the fold, because it's the most lucrative genre out there, in my opinion, to be in, and it has the most rabid fan base, right? So the way that he was embraced by the country music fan base, he did it the right way. He went into Nashville. He met with the writers. He hung out for a while. This was a long process that he made the inroads. He wrote with the people. He, obviously he's got the name, so people are not going to shy away from writing with him or being, or producing with him. But just the way that he embraced the country music, fan base, he did it the right way, and I could see why he had success there. He got with the right writers. Morgan, look, I wouldn't say Morgan was the greatest entertainer, but man, he's got great songs. He's a great writer, and he got with the writers that can write really well and that had concurrent hits. And that's important.
Yeah, but he's putting out so much. You know, I was listening to Sirius XM the other day, and they played "Bad" for Michael Jackson. And they I don't know if it was Alan Hunter or whoever 80s on 8 was telling the story.
He's on there a lot, man.
He is. Alan's on there a bunch. But he was telling the story that Michael Jackson originally wanted that to be a 3-album release with like 32 songs on it. And,
Wow.
and Quincy Jones had to talk him off the ledge and like, you can't do that many. But now that's what,
Yeah,
I mean.
Meanwhile, every time Morgan
That's what I'm
releases
saying.
something, it's 36 songs.
Yeah, I mean, they just release as many songs as they can.
It just shows you what kind of writer he is. I mean, those are the kind of people that look, you know, in Nashville, strength by numbers, right? So if you write, you know, you're writing 10 a day, you know, you write 50 a week, you know, you start doing the math. I mean, it's like, you know, the more that you're writing, the more songs that you got out there, you know, one of them's going to hit, you know, but it takes a lot of, you know, writing and a lot of, putting your nose to the grindstone and really, really working hard every day to create that one hit that will allow you another 5 or 6 years in the business, you know?
I know you guys did a reunion tour back in the day, but there's still my ex-wife and daughter watch American Idol still to this day, so there's still a massive audience. Have they ever talked about doing like some kind of reunion tour again with all you guys? Or, you know, we came up with the idea on the fly before you got here of doing like the Ultimate Idol winner where you guys all compete against each other?
Like
That's been thrown around.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, that's almost gone to production, actually.
Yeah.
Is kind of like, you know, an idea of like all the winners and runners up being, you know, like the Ultimate Idol. That's a great, you know, that's you're on to something because, I mean, there was some rumblings that was going.
Well, you'd bring some of the old audience back that maybe watched you but hasn't watched in 10 years.
Yeah, I think it would be, you know, I'd be up for it.
Oh, I'm sure.
I bet you would.
Maybe
yeah.
I wouldn't have to pay for production for that one.
I think they handle that.
Yeah, Seacrest probably would pick up the tab on that, his production company.
I was telling them in the break, Carrie Underwood is now the best-selling female, I left female out of that, by the way, best-selling female country artist of all time.
Wow.
That's insane, isn't it?
How much is that before he cheats?
Well, that's
probably half of it, right?
I don't know. She's done a lot, but that's her big one.
I mean, what can one song do for an artist, especially today?
It's called a career song. You know, they don't come around often. You know, I mean, it was unbelievable. You know that, and Chris Tompkins, he's from North Alabama. He wrote it. You know,
really? He wrote that song.
He wrote that song. Yeah, he's from North Alabama. He's from up in Decatur.
The
area.
people that don't know him, they're like, "How in the hell does he have a Bentley
But what's
up here?"
funny? But what's funny about Chris is that, like, I don't know if you Google Chris's. I mean, it was, you know, he was sitting around. He was sitting around laughing with his mom at the breakfast table. And it didn't really have anything to do with before. I mean, the whole idea of taking a Louisville Slugger and stuff. I mean, it was literally, if I'm not wrong here, like it was kind of a joke. But then all of a sudden, the idea came to him, and he started writing Before He Cheats, and he took all of those ideas and kind of implemented into a song.
Do you wake up in the middle of the night and write things down on like bedside table, like when you think of lyrics? Yeah.
You know, interesting. I actually, like, when it's time for me to do a record, I completely, if I really, really, you know, find something or that I think's a hook or something, I have, like, you know, a notation in my phone that I'll just do notes. But like when I go into a record cycle, when I dive into a record, I usually just completely just shut the outside world off and go completely, you know, kamikaze on some of the writers in Nashville, and then write myself, bring ideas, and then I kind of try to separate the two between my live show and then the writing aspect of it.
Randy Owen of Alabama, I cannot remember his wife's name, unfortunately, but she said he would wake her up in the middle of the night and say, write down chubby little groundhog, croaking bullfrog. I'll know what it is.
That sounds like Randy.
I know. And she'll write it down, and they'll go back to sleep, and the next day he's got it written down.
And then you know, a year later she gets to go to
That's
wherever.
right, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I bet she didn't mind.
No,
Yeah.
she didn't mind.
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't mind that. But yeah, that sounds like Randy. I mean, some people have they interestingly enough, you know, I was studying Mick Jagger for other years, and man, you know, you wouldn't think it, but like he's like that. You know, it's like he's. You know, I've known people to have been around him and you know, and have written some music, but he was one of those guys that just always wanted to write music. You know, just had this like real burning desire to write stuff.
It seems so hard.
Yeah. Speaking of desire, what you've done a million reality shows. I don't know what you're doing exactly now. We know you're going to be at the Lyric next Friday, the 12th. You can get tickets, lyricbham.com right now, performing Van Morrison and Christmas classics. But like, what do you ultimately want to do right now?
So I've probably go out on the road next year, do some dates. I do auditions for film and television. I hadn't landed anything yet, but still kind of learning the audition process. There's an art to that, right? you know, like you wouldn't think, at this point in my career, I gotta own my craft a little bit more. It's not just working a name, right? But it's funny because I auditioned for the show Nashville about when Nashville was about to be put on air on ABC, and it was my first audition that I ever did. But I was auditioning for I think it was the Esteen guy or something. But one of the main characters, maybe a little bit skewed, a little bit older. But I walked in. ABC exec, the ABC, the casting director, they were all in there, and it was dark, and there was like this light, and I just bombed it, man. I mean, I forgot my lines, and I was just sweating, and she, I remember her asking me, have you ever done an audition before?
No. Apparently not,
honey. You know
honey.
what? When they ask you that, you're not going to get the gig.
That's the telltale right
but
there.
But my answer was pretty funny. I said, American Idol?
Does that count?
I mean, does that count as one?
What about Nashville 911, the very realistic show that's on Fox now? Like, how can you not jump on there?
There was a lot of people in town that wanted that gig, wanted that one. But that was I didn't realize that was such a popular show. Actually,
Nashville 911's popular.
Yeah. All
I
those
think the
911
whole
shows
911s are.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, all I know is they show them all the time during the football games, Taylor. I mean, it's one promo after another.
So is it a series, Nashville?
I don't know.
Yeah, be safe in Nashville. A lot of shit going down there. Apparently,
I think it is.
There always has been.
For those that don't understand what a big sports fan Taylor is, by the way, in Los Angeles, when Alabama punched a ticket to go to the Final Four for the first time ever, I'm at the team hotel bar upstairs, and I go walking in, and I was like, is that Taylor Hicks? Is that Elliot Yamin from American Idol with Taylor Hicks?
Really?
I mean, he and Elliot
hilarious.
together, the old reunion
That's
there
hilarious.
From the basketball there at Staples.
Oh, he and I used to sneak out. So we used to sneak out. He was a big Lakers fan. Still is, huge Lakers fan. And then when he actually got on the show, he was able to kind of infiltrate, the Lakers organization, right? And with that, I just kind of rode his coattails into it.
Yeah, just
so we would sneak out, we would sneak out of the condo of American Idol after like the bodyguards, like all that, security and all that. And so we would go to Laker games, and we would meet this guy named Laker Steve. And Laker Steve was the dude who
could do everything.
Yeah, basically. I mean, and doesn't that sound like Laker
fantastic,
Steve? It's
yeah.
like you got to call Laker Steve, man. Laker Steve's gonna hook all of this up, So we would go, and we'd get to go and see everybody and go to the Laker games, and then the production would call and be like, "Were y'all at a Lakers game last night?" And I was like, "Yeah."
That's Laker
Like,
Steve.
you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not 17 years old. I mean, I'm actually almost 30, and Elliot's almost 30. We want to go to a ball game.
Laker Steve called us.
Right. What do you want us to do?
We're supposed to say no?
Were we in Miami? Was that
VIP?
Speakeasy.
Speakeasy
Yeah.
Taylor took us to. You took us some speak. You remember that?
We've done a lot.
No,
do I want to remember it?
No, it was a great night.
2018.
2018 Alabama, Oklahoma, and Miami, and it was a speakeasy, and they had Narcos playing on the screens.
Oh yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah. And then we went to some club, right?
I can't remember.
I mean, that seemed like a club to me.
Yeah, that was about as club as I got.
Yeah.
Maybe y'all went. And I
Was
went
it
back
Miami?
To the yeah, it was in Miami, South Beach.
Let's go. Let's do it again.
I went for pancakes. I think y'all went to another place down
No,
on
we
South
were
Beach.
laughing because we kept him out to like.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you were out the whole time.
We actually kept you out way past your bedtime.
You were giving me a hard time. Jim, what are you doing
Wake up.
still up?
Yeah,
What are you doing still up?
It was a little bit of a weekend at Bernie's moment, you know.
Yeah.
Always good stuff. Okay, Taylor Hicks, Moondance, performing Van Morrison and Christmas Classics, coming up a week from Friday, December 12th, 8 o'clock, the Lyric Theater, lyricbham.com for more information and to get those tickets. Always fun, man.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Taylor Hicks, one of a
Thanks,
kind.
guys. Happy holidays.
Yeah, you too.
All right, so you can get those tickets there. We'll tell you more about it before we get to the show next Friday night. When we come back, we'll get to Trash. The show today being brought to you by our friends at the Company Distilling folks. Man, speaking of a holiday cocktail, Company Distilling can hook you up.
Yeah, if you've been waiting to try a whiskey as good as the company you keep, it is finally in Alabama, also Colorado, Florida, South Carolina. Ask for it by name. If they don't have it, tell them to get it. A great stocking stuffer this holiday season. You're going to be heading to a lot of Christmas parties. Pick up a bottle of Company Distilling on your way. For more information, CompanyDistilling.com/Alabama.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Honey, a while back, life knocked me flat on my behind. I was hit by an 18-wheeler, and Lord of mercy, it left me hurting. Now, I heard through the grapevine that Alexander Shannara had recovered big money for some people. You been hurt? Can't work? Don't sit there suffering. Call my people at Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. Ain't gonna cost you a dime, so pick up the phone and dial 659-777-7777 or go to Shannara.com, because when I called, Alexander Shannara answered.
Call me, Alabama. No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today, in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Catch up on all of today's Next Round on demand through the podcast platform of your choice. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcasts. Wherever you listen, always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you never miss any part of the Next Round.
Get all your favorite Next Round gear all in one place, nextround.store. From our Next Round hats to the logo tees to the all-time best-selling Y'all Can Have the Rest shirt, you can look your best by shopping with us at nextround.store. Take the Next Round anywhere with nextround.store.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and Bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Always interesting why you do this after the fact like this, but Ole Miss is going to hold its introductory news conference to Pete Golding being the head coach Wednesday at 2 o'clock Central in the Manning Center.
I don't know if they're thinking let's wait through the rankings to see where we are before we do this, or if Wednesday was just a good day for Pete to do it. I don't know. I don't know. I'll be interested to see if there is any talk adjustment or anything with Ole Miss in this.
Yeah. To your point, though, that news conference quickly becomes Pete Golding on the fly having to answer live questions about why Ole Miss dropped so far, and could they be out?
I don't know. I just did a top 10 a little bit ago. I've still got Ole Miss at 7.
I mean, that's where they've been. I mean, if they drop, it's anything below 7. They've been pretty consistently 7. Alabama and Ole Miss have been in that 7-10 game for a while.
I personally have Ole Miss ahead of Texas A&M.
I don't have any issue at all with that. The committee doesn't, but I mean.
Yeah, I only had A&M dropping to 5. Could be wrong on that.
I mean, it's not going to surprise me if they drop them a little bit. Say, hey, there's some uncertainty. They've lost their entire offensive staff.
So you have Oregon or Texas Tech?
I have got Texas Tech above Oregon.
Yeah.
I think Texas Tech's locked.
Yeah.
I really do. So if you believe they're locked, the committee might as well put them where they deserve to be, which is 4.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Oregon is ahead or behind Texas A&M?
Right behind them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. You didn't drop A&M far at all.
So, I mean, Oregon with their one loss, A&M with their one loss. I mean,
they'll tip their hand on this. They'll tip their hand on this tonight. But I think we all believe Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, and SEC championship game winner are your top 4 seeds. Is that where y'all are?
It's going to be Ohio State, Indiana, Texas Tech if they win.
Oh, Texas Tech.
Yeah, Texas Tech if they win.
Yeah, I think, and the SEC championship game winner.
9, 10, 11, and 12 are going to be what's fascinating tonight.
Yeah,
I agree.
Just to see that. By the way, Texas Tech, we talk offense all the time. Number 1 stop rate in college football. Now, you'll instantly say, who have they played schedule-wise? But they have the number 1 stop rate. Of the playoff contenders, Ohio State is 4th in the nation. Indiana is 5th. Oklahoma is 7th. Oregon is 8th. Down the list, you get to Notre Dame is 18, and I've only got the top 20 here in front of me. But that's where the stop rate is, and that's a big stat you look at. I got the whole list now. Alabama.
I do think they're going to go Alabama.
Georgia's ahead of Alabama now in the stop rate. Georgia's 21, Alabama's 24th, but still a respectable number for the tie.
So are we in agreement Alabama will be in front of Notre Dame?
I believe they will
I think they will tonight, yes. I think that's going to be an adjustment tonight.
That'll be the shocker tonight.
Yeah.
But how much does Miami jump BYU possibly?
I don't think it matters, though. I mean, unless you believe Alabama falls out with a loss or a blowout loss, that's the only thing that would matter for Miami being where they would be.
Yeah, but the problem is going to be if you have, at the end of this, Notre Dame 12 and Miami 13.
See,
if they're riding each other.
I don't think they want to get Miami and Notre Dame any closer than they have to.
I personally think it's going to be shocker of all shockers. I think it'll be Alabama, Miami, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame out, Miami in.
Yep.
And they'll just basically say this is the first time we've been able to do their entire resume, and it is so tight, we're going to use head-to-head now to break our tie.
Yeah, this is really the only show that has mattered up until this point.
Boy, there's going to be.
This show does matter for the positioning on the backside.
Irish tears if that happens. Irish eyes.
I believe you've got the opportunity here to correct a potential wrong of the ACC, who's a big player in this. They're not as big as the Big Ten and the SEC, but they're a big player in this. Yep. And this secures them a spot in the playoffs, and then you may be able to tweak it and adjust it on the other side, because I do believe Notre Dame beat Virginia. They play each other this year.
That's a good
Notre Dame did not play Virginia.
They did not play Virginia.
But then, but to your point, that also helps you a little bit with Alabama. If in the committee's mind you're like, we're not dropping Alabama out, they're the SEC has told us they're the regular season champion. Then the further up you can move them, the easier it is if they do indeed lose to Georgia.
Yeah, their ACC draw was favorable. Outside of the Miami loss, they beat NC State, they beat Boston College, beat Pitt, Syracuse, and Stanford.
Yeah, and see, that Pitt thing is the new comparison for Notre Dame.
That's right.
Now that Miami has played Pitt, Notre Dame has played Pitt, both of them in Pittsburgh. That's another comparison point between the two. It'll be interesting tonight. Hard to imagine they do ding the brand that is Notre Dame, but there's some people that believe it can happen. The show being brought to you by our friends at Inverness Country Club. One more thing before we get to trash.
They have memberships that fit everyone. If you're looking for a great Christmas gift for the entire family, you're a big golfer, you can sell this to the wife. Hey, look, social membership, you guys can hit the pool. And on top of that, childcare is a massive plus. You and your wife want to hit the golf course, you want to hit the tennis courts, guess what? You can drop the kid, go have yourself a day on the court or course. Dinner with friends, knowing your kid is safe on site is huge. Maybe you work from home. What about working from the club while they watch your kid? Best days happen at Inverness. Call Erin today, our good friend Erin. Tell her the next round sent you, 205-991-8608. You can take a tour of this unbelievable club. You can also go online for more information, ICCalabama.com.
According to reports, 5-star quarterback Jared Curtis has flipped from Georgia to Vanderbilt. He's going to sign on Friday. We'll see if that holds.
We are living in an alternate universe right now.
There is no bizarro world.
I mean, the top not some random quarterback that Georgia was getting because he's a legacy player. His dad played at Georgia 25 years ago. This is the top quarterback in the country. And he's going from Georgia to Vanderbilt.
If I'd have told you 5 years ago that you've got Indiana, you have got Vanderbilt in Virginia or Duke all in a college football playoff, and you were a play away from Vanderbilt being there.
I know.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Florida is expected to hire Kentucky's Brad White as its defensive coordinator, led the way to 4 Kentucky defenses that were ranked in the top 25 nationally, according to Matt Zenitz there. So that fills a defensive coordinator job for a defensive-minded coach in John Summerall down there.
I was asked today, I did Mike Grace's show, our buddy Mike Grace, the press box, and I was asked to compare the hires of Summerall and Golesh, and I said, it's interesting if you pair those two together. Historically, Golesh much more of a fit at Florida, what they've done historically, and Summerall much more fit at Auburn. Isn't that?
Yeah, it really
I
is.
mean, if you compare those two, like Golesh, the offensive mind fits better at Florida historically. I'm not saying not right now. I'm just saying if you consider their history.
No, and if you would have said, though, before the season, these guys are going Golesh to Florida would have made a lot more sense.
Absolutely, yep.
And Summerall to Auburn,
yeah.
absolutely.
And again, Brett McMurphy reporting it earlier that Alabama has moved the South Florida game from 2026 to 2032, adding Chattanooga in their place. So Alabama will open up next season with East Carolina, Chattanooga, Florida State, and then 9 conference games.
So Kirk Herbstreit on social media is like, this is a sign of things to come. We're going to lose all these good.
We are.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the indication of that, though, because Alabama's still got a lot of...
That's what I do. I'd be dropping them like flies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Sark has basically said that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, but Florida State's
still there, and Alabama's
still a brand name.
Still got Notre Dame and Ohio State and a lot of big games scheduled moving forward.
Yeah.
We'll see if they keep them.
But that's if you don't, if you don't give some credit to the strength of schedule, then why play these games? Why play these games?
But even that's complicated because 5 years ago, Florida State and Wisconsin will look like an extremely good strength of schedule.
No,
that's
you
what
get
complicates
credit.
it.
You get credit for that.
Well,
I mean,
I guess.
you schedule these games, you schedule brands. You can't help if the brands are 5 and 7.
But Sark is dead on, and there is that percent chance. It's not high, but if Alabama loses this game and then it goes back to if you would have played somebody besides Florida State.
Yep.
I mean, that's going to shut the door on a lot of those games if that did, in fact, happen.
That's right. If Texas had played
UTSA
and Alabama had played Chattanooga, we'd all be in different places right now. I don't know who would be left out, but they'd be.
Hey, and look, here's another thing to look at. USC playing Notre Dame. If USC wanted to play Northern Arizona.
Lincoln Riley's already brought that up.
Yeah, and they're sitting right now at 10-2.
Yeah, they got a much better argument than they do now.
That's why that game's not on the books yet. They're still working on that.
Yeah, I want to see it, but if it's going to keep you away from a college football playoff, I don't know how many people want to see it.
I forget who I saw last night saying that if I was the Big Ten and the SEC or the ACC or the Big 12, I wouldn't schedule Notre Dame. I'd say good luck. Go find your own schedules.
I'm kind of with you on that, and I mean Notre Dame is getting the benefit. It has happened already this year where teams are treating it. We've seen it twice. Navy rested their starting quarterback to get back into conference play. Now he was injured, but they could have played. They played him the very next week in a critical conference game. He was obviously able to go, and they chose to rest him against Notre Dame. And Pitt's own coach was like, yeah, this game doesn't really matter. You know what matters is the ACC games we play.
Well, look, when strength of schedule meant something, I can kind of understand it. But because it doesn't, what do you play Notre Dame for? You don't play them for recruiting purposes.
Nope.
You don't play them to bring in eyeballs anymore. Television contracts are massive. There's no reason to play them.
It's a great home game, and that's it.
If you've never done it.
Why don't we get that boycott out? Why don't we start that as the next round?
Yeah.
We will get out to the ADs, and that'll be our messaging moving forward. Boycott Notre Dame. I think it's a great idea.
If you want a great message-oriented show, you get it from Unlocked today. Brock Hewart, a special Tuesday edition of Unlocked. It comes up right after we're done with this show today. Unlocked with Brock and LT. Today you can watch it live or you can get it on replay anytime at your convenience. Apple and Spotify and always on our YouTube channel. Central State Bank today brings us Trash on the Table, Brownie.
They are the bank that is big enough to meet every single one of your needs, but also small enough to know you because they are a community bank at Central State Bank. They've been doing that for a very, very long time, more than 100 years now, in fact. So you know you can trust that Central State Bank is what they say they are. Family-owned, community-focused, and built on trust. That's what they're built on. And they've covered Central Alabama, Shelby County, Tallapoosa County, and all of Central Alabama with local decisions and personal service that feels like home. So whether you're starting a business, buying a car, planning for tomorrow, Central State Bank, every step of the way right there with you. Central State Bank, rooted in community, driven by relationships, member FDIC.
But you guys have sharded, right?
I have, yes. Absolutely. Every man's done
that could be it.
I think you're reading way too much into this.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Our friends at Bud Light. We start first. A late-night kidnapping alert at UC Berkeley was sparked by what police now say was a fantasy football punishment carried out by a group of students.
Oh, no.
UC Berkeley's police department issued a crime alert on Wednesday morning after a witness claimed they saw 8 to 10 college-aged men carrying another person into a cargo van near Stevens Hall shortly before midnight.
The AI is incredible here. The poor cow bear's hand gets smashed in that trunk.
The witness reported the incident about an hour later, prompting the university to warn of a possible kidnapping and aggravated assault on campus. In its initial alert published at 2:10 a.m., authorities attempting to locate a victim had limited information about the people involved. The report did not indicate whether the person taken into the van was a student. Now, according to the Berkeley Scanner, police followed up Wednesday afternoon with new details after detectives were finally able to speak with the people involved. Police said the witness told them they heard, quote, giggling and laughing during the incident rather than any signs of distress. At about 1:40 p.m., the student who had been carried into the van walked into the UC Berkeley Police Department to explain the situation. Officials confirmed the group was carrying out a consensual prank tied to their fantasy football league, and no crimes occurred.
If you give us Justin Jefferson, we'll give you Tony back.
No, thank you.
You keep Tony.
Hey, have you ever heard of swatting?
Yeah.
So I was watching this, I don't know if you've seen it, the most infamous teen hacker HBO series on this dude from Finland that ended up hacking like just crazy hacks. But these teen hackers like to SWAT. So they call SWAT divisions in and they report kidnappings and, you know, like we've got a hostage situation. The guy is gone nuts. He's suicidal.
What's their end game?
They want to terrify people.
Yeah, to harass, to stop you from doing whatever you're doing, to put your life in danger. So basically, I would call up the local police department and say, oh, you know, my name is Ryan Brown. I've got 3 hostages, and you guys better get here.
Yeah, they kick your front door open. Can you imagine being asleep in the middle of the night?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, just the trigger moving forward, like the anxiety that you would have.
Just the chance of getting shot at that point.
Yeah, well, that's what they worry about. Like this thing
jerk
could really
up out of bed. That could be a movement, and the police officer accidentally fires on you.
Well, that's what the guy said the other night. Is how many homeowners in the United States have guns? Somebody reaches for their bedside gun, boom, and they take a couple in the chest because somebody wanted to SWAT. Anyway, I'd never heard of that until this week. I figured you had.
I would say Jack McCoy on you here, the old Law and Order. I would charge you with attempted murder at that point, 2nd degree.
Oh yeah,
it's a felony. Yeah.
Nelson, he's
doing 6.5 now. He got sideways with the Sony CEO, and he called in a bomb threat on a plane the Sony CEO was on. Oh, and so they had to bring in jet fighters to escort it to the ground.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean this kid, he hacked everybody, and he was like 17.
By the way, on jet fighters, real quick. when we do these flyovers, we sort of offset the cost of these flyovers for football games by also doing it's like a training mission, right? Don't we do some of that?
I think so, and I think it also maybe comes out of recruitment budgets as well.
Yeah.
I think they consider it recruitment.
Because pregame at Jordan-Hare, the Jets that were going to be part of that, they did 2 or 3 passovers before we got inside the 90-minute mark.
Right.
A couple of times buzzing the stadium, sometimes in their formation. Then there were a couple of 2x2 flybys. And one guy said, "Man, that's a lot of wasteful, gas and stuff." And I was like, "I think I'm right about this. I think they also use these as training missions as well to offset the cost of these flyovers."
Those are AI. Those aren't even real.
Yeah.
No, you know what they showed on the broadcast, and maybe they showed it before, and I've just never seen it because we all love to watch the Eagle. But when it landed, they threw him that rat.
Oh, they always throw.
Yeah, that's how they get him on the ground.
But I didn't notice that they ever showed it on camera, him chewing up that rat.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know it was a rat. Is it a rat?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It just always looked like a big chunk of meat to me. I didn't know if
It was, feet dangling, tail out.
It seemed like it was a very long flight of the Eagle, too. It's like you had a very long
I thought it was
war.
shorter.
Oh, was it? Okay, maybe
I
I'm
thought
wrong.
It was shorter, yeah.
Maybe. All right.
You were DJing, Brown. You don't know.
Yeah, I was playing DJ. I was that was first half, so we were Southern Rock Hits.
Yeah.
Southern Rock Hits in the first half.
He flies from the
90s
press
country,
box
second
side
half.
now, opposite end of the stadium, and I thought it was a shorter flight.
Okay, maybe it was.
Yeah.
Evan Hammock, 20 years old, of Gainesville, arrested after allegedly breaking into a house and spraying barbecue sauce on the walls and furniture before the house caught on fire.
I see no issue here.
Now, at 5:47 a.m., November 27th, County Sheriff's deputy responded to the home after a fire was reported and learned that earlier in the night, Hammock allegedly entered the house, took multiple bottles and jars of condiments from the refrigerator, sprayed the contents over multiple walls, the couches, and a bed. Deputy identified 2 of the substances as barbecue sauce, matching containers found on the floor in the house. After Hammock allegedly burglarized and vandalized the house, he reportedly called 911 to report house was on fire. When the deputy arrived, he reported that Hammock was in the driveway with visible soot on his face and around his nostrils. Deputy reported that this indicated that Hammock had been inside of the house after the fire had started. Deputy also noted that Hammock had stains on his clothing that were consistent with at least one of the barbecue sauces. At first, Hammock reportedly said he had spent the night at the nearby home. He said he was on the back porch of the house and he, quote, smelled an electrical fire. So he ran knees to chest to the house to help the homeowner.
That's good, knees to chest. That's the way I want you to run.
Said he kicked the front door open, met with straight black smoke, so he crawled through the house trying to find the homeowner or anyone else who might be inside. He said he used a fire extinguisher to attempt to put it out. Deputies contacted the homeowner, who said she had moved to a different home. She and a witness showed up, saw deputies, showed them their phones. Phones had multiple missed calls from Hammock in the hour before the fire was reported. Now, the witness also reportedly had a video that the owner of the neighboring home sent him showing Hammock inside of the house before the fire. Camera was pointed at the floor and showed boots that were identical to the boots Hammock was wearing when he spoke with deputies.
Wow.
Brown liquid could also be seen on the floor. The text message accompanied the video reportedly saying, quote, Hammock's off the rails, he's trashing the house. When confronted about the cause in the video, Hammock reportedly admitted that he had poured condiments inside of the homeowner's house, but said this type of, quote, prank was common among his group of friends, and he claimed the homeowner or the witness had previously put tuna in his truck.
Left to right, have not had it. Excellent.
Can I just say real quick, I was
Okay.
going to joke that's Brown loves barbecue sauce so much that's the app he has on his phone, Kinder.
I've only had 3 of them. I've had the Kinders. I
Kinder
like
is
it.
good. Sweet Baby Ray's too commercial for me.
I like Sweet Baby Ray's.
Stubbs is fantastic.
I like Stubbs too.
Too commercial for him.
It is too commercial. Jack Daniel's not as good as you would think it is. And then I've never had Buc-ee's. And I can't tell what that is behind the Kinders. I've never seen that one. And there's some back there in the back. I can't tell those.
Yeah,
are.
I've got a couple of bottles of Kinders right now. I think I
Kinder's
got
good.
Sweet Baby Ray's.
Peter in the chat wants to know if Barbecue Brown has a favorite barbecue sauce.
The one he makes himself.
I don't make it myself. I cannot make barbecue sauce as good as the pros can. I'd have to ponder on that one. I've at least got 5 or 6 open in my fridge. My wife points that out often. I'll use like half of one and then I'll open a new one because I want a different taste.
Well, you should hop on Kinder tonight and see if you can find you a new barbecue sauce you like.
What's your favorite style of barbecue sauce?
I like a thicker red sauce. Red sauce.
The vinegar base is awful.
I like a runnier red sauce.
So you used to love Ollie's back in the day.
I love Ollie's.
You remember theirs?
Yeah, I like the place. I never remember the name. That's locally owned now on Highway 31 in Hoover. Used to be Golden
Used to
Rule.
be Golden Rule.
Yeah.
They got a
And
good one.
I like Dreamland's barbecue sauce. I love their sauce.
I just don't like a sauce that's that loose, like a pure liquid.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I like a thicker red sauce, sweet and spicy together. Very, very good.
So recently, I have wanted to go to Japan. I've heard the Board of Tourism, they're doing everything they can to bring people over. It's not that expensive. It's supposed to be beautiful. You've got everything you could want over there. I did not realize a big problem has become bears in Japan.
Oh, no.
Oh, really?
Man was attacked by a bear in Japan while using a public toilet. Local media reported on Friday in the latest incident in a spate of record-breaking encounters across the country.
They got a bear bell.
Now that
Ring
he's
that bell.
69-year-old security guard mauled by a bear north of Tokyo on Friday, sustained minor injuries to his leg after fighting the nearly 5-foot-tall bear. Security guard told police that he saw the bear prying inside while exiting the public toilet, but he fell backwards when the animal launched an attack, fought it, kicking it in its legs. Bear fled the scene while the man suffered injuries on his right leg, then fled to a nearby police post to report the incident. Bathroom encounter came barely a month after another bear wandered into a grocery store in the same area, attacking someone in the car park before pinning a customer to the ground and tearing through food counters. Since April 13th, people have been killed in bear attacks. 13 people have been killed in bear attacks, highest toll on record.
Wow.
And across Japan, a record 220 people have been injured by bears since last April.
Ben Johnson doing a tremendous job. Bears making a comeback everywhere.
That is crazy.
That's a lot of attacks.
That is.
And real quick, a thief on an electric bike has been recorded on CCTV stealing a giant Christmas nutcracker soldier statue from outside an Edinburgh cocktail bar. Person appears to be male, wearing a hood and mask, puts the 8-foot soldier, which cost around $900 US, horizontally across his lap and rides off.
He did not think this through. Look how tough that's going to be for him.
You got to get the balance right.
Yep.
The video shows the man pushing over furniture, breaking a $350 table, then rips the statue from the railings, drags it onto his bike before riding off while balancing the soldier on the vehicle.
Not very well, by the way.
He crashed in the video there. That is not good.
That man must have some big nuts.
That is the nutcracker thief right there. And that is Trash Today. Hey, don't forget this hour brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. If you'd like to get down and enjoy the holidays with great Southern food, get that chicken brined overnight, perfect for lunch or dinner. Highway 119 in Alabaster, champyschicken.com. The one and only Brock Hubert, seconds away with Lance Taylor on Unlocked today. Brief pause here, and then we're right back up with Unlocked with LT and Brock. Unlocked, LT and Brock. I never knew that right.
There's a little rhyme
right
there,
then.
yes.
Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.